Another day and another day closer to the start of the NFL season. Welcome aboard. Big Sills here on the National Football Show. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. All supers go to the top. Hey, by the way, the likes have been down, so let's try to get these bad puppies up again. I've been going light on you a little bit. And maybe it's because you're waving your banners around and you're still on the parade float, but the likes are down. Let's get them up, okay? I think I could say that on my show. Let's get it up. All right. Do me a favor. If you're here for the algorithm, we welcome you. If you're here for Big Sills, we're here for you. If you're here for truth, justice, and Big Sills, we're here for you, okay? It just depends. Some of you are in a particular bucket. Some of you are here to be entertained. Some of you are here to be scolded at. Some of you are here to debate Big Sills. Some of you are here just to continue the algorithm, as I said. You're a this, you're a that. Hey, I want to give you guys a little insight. I've been hearing that crap from people for almost 40 years. Sileo, I can't stand you. I've been listening to you for the last 30 years. Man, you suck. 30 years. 88 days until Notre Dame. And those Catholics take on the convicts. You bet, baby. Convicts versus Catholic. 88 days away. I think it's 12 Saturdays from now, from this week, that it's Catholics versus the convicts. I can't wait to get them dudes. Holy cow. I hope we put a beating on them like you've never seen. Sorry, Lord. I love you very much. You're going to need to pray for Marcus Freeman and them dudes. Touchdown, Jesus may take another knee. Just saying. So that's 88 days away. How you doing? All right. And next week is mandatory minicamp. Then you've got the July 27th training camp, and that's it until you kick it off against the Dallas Cowboys on September 4th. Look at this here, Kyle. Thank you for the super. Time for the trash talking to begin and commence. That's right, baby. Go Buckeyes. Buckeyes will have a great shot of repeating for national champions. I don't think that Michigan program is where it once was under Jim Harbaugh. I think your boys are going to get an opportunity to go back to the national championship and win that title again. So Ohio State's got a lot of talent on that team. So I have to say this. Did I hear Saquon Barkley is going to pull a Barry Sanders? You know, I didn't hear John McMullen this morning on Birds 365 bring this up. Saquon Barkley is talking retiring and pulling a Barry Sanders. That'll be the end of the Super Bowl window. If that guy is not on your football team, it is over. By the way, I didn't say that. That's not me saying that. Okay? That's not. Saquon Barkley is talking about this being his final year? How can that be? 2,000 rushing yards. He would call it at the end of, wait, look at Sue creating drama already. Well, let me read this just in case. Barkley talking retirement. Is Big Sills making this up? Maybe I didn't read it. Saquon Barkley, when I retire, it'll probably be, let's see. Barkley talks retirement. So let's read it here. I just want to be factual, like Sue says. Nothing lasts forever. What is this? This is USA Today? It is? No, it's Eagle Wire. Nothing lasts forever. If Saquon Barkley never played another snap for the Philadelphia Eagles, depending on who you ask, he's the best free agent signing in the franchise's history. Is he better than T.O.? Yeah, because he delivered a Super Bowl. He is the greatest sign in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles because it resulted in a Super Bowl win. Okay? I'll probably be one of those guys that will announce retirement out of nowhere. I will probably just wake up one day, whether it's next year or 2 years or 4 years. It just may be like that. It's over. I don't think I'm going to ever lose the passion of the game or the love because I'm a competitor. However, I'm starting to feel it. Man, holy cow, Barkley playing one more year? What would happen to your beloved Eagles if that guy retires and pulls the Berries? Remember something what Barry did. Barry wanted to play 10 years. I think he retired with a 1,500-yard year. Every year Barry Sanders played in the National Football League, he was over 1,000 yards. In his final season, I thought he was 1,500 yards. Okay? Can you imagine? Does he retire at the end of the 2025 season? I mean, let me see on WIP what they wrote about Barkley retiring. WIP here. Let's see here, man. Man, can you believe that? Saquon would call it a career after 1 year. Here you go. Barkley on retirement. I'm just going to be one of those guys. Okay? Just going to come out of nowhere. Man. Dang. Out of nowhere. That's unbelievable. We shall see. We shall see the kind of year it is. And I'm looking forward to it. Hey, real quick, hit the like button. All supers go to the chat. Go to the top. Once again, if you're here for the entertainment, have at it. If you're here for the content, we love it. If you're here for the algorithm, keep banging away, baby. Haters are welcome. Come on. Haters are welcome. I love haters in here because haters keep the show moving along. Thank you very much. Can't thank you enough. I'm in a great mood. Got the Lord in my face. Got football talk. We're less than 100 days out from the start of the NFL season. How could you not, man? Absolutely here. Bunch of topics here. Oh, we have a change in the Battle Royale. By the way, we have an update. Angelo Cataldi and Howard Eskin have agreed to a Battle Royale. The greatest sports talkers in the history of the Philadelphia sports media are going to join the show here. We have to figure out the time and the day and how long we're going to do this. But for today, Battle Royale, Mark Holmes, Dallas Cowboys, and Philly 500. And we are going to do this at 3:30, not 4:30 Eastern time. Xander will join us at 4:30. We are here for, again, some of you with the algorithm, some of you here for the content, and some of you here for the entertainment. We're in, or you are in, one of those buckets. What are you doing? Hey, I'd love to hear this. So I was listening to Birds 365. God, Jalen was sharp. He just threw a dime, man. That go route of his. And isn't it funny? He's the best practice passer in the history of the National Football League. You get him in a season, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen a guy in my life win the practice award for the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, I got to tell you, man, congratulations to you guys. That guy is the greatest deep pass thrower. How could you be the greatest deep pass thrower when you don't have no numbers? I mean, no way. Let's go. Absolutely. How in the world can that be? Okay. Eskin versus Angelo. Yes, sir. That is going to be a motion picture only produced by JAKIB for yours truly. Okay? For you guys, our audience. All right? I missed the super. Oh, we got that super chat, man. We did it. We'll make sure we end up getting it. I promise to you, man. We'll get that, Kyle. All super chats, my friends, will all go to the top. We do that. Please hit the like button. All right. We got a bunch of topics here. And at the end of the day, OTAs were yesterday, and you got a lot of news, especially from Vic Fangio and that presser that he did prior to the start of OTAs, the second OTA. Next week is mandatory, obviously. Jalen will turn back into ramen noodle Hurts. Look at Kyle there, been Sileo-ized. I love it, Kyle. Well, again, I mean, he's the greatest, according to ESP, that guy that covers the team. The ball never hits the ground, unless you get him in a regular season game. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, that guy did not play well last year. He played great in 2 games. Great. Quote John McMullen. I don't know. I didn't say that. John did. What me? That wasn't me. PFF and the rating. Wasn't me. I'm not saying that stuff. Right? That wasn't me saying that. J-Mac in witness protection from Big Sills. We want Sills versus J-Mac. Nah, don't do that to J-Mac. No way, man. That's going to be exclusively because guess where we're going to have to meet? Folks, this coming fall. Am I right, Xander? This coming fall. It's going to be like it's going to be like a Tyson fight. And we're going to build up the suspense. I'm not giving you J-Mac Sills now. I'm giving you J-Mac Sills the week of September 4th and September 5th. That's when it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you this year, no holds barred. Okay? Contractually. Am I right, Big Z? February 5th. Be there. It's going to be like a monster movie. Nobody on the planet will have the fireworks that we will have on February 5th, the day after you guys open up the season against the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? And every post-game show on JAKIB. John has made it so, which is great. Okay? Will he show up to the post-game shows? I don't know. I'm going to. I don't know. I'm gonna. Is he? You should ask him. Ask him tomorrow morning. Is he going to show up to the post-game shows or not? Big Sill's going to be there. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I'll be there. Will you? How you doing? Hey, by the way, I'm not the one that went on and said this morning, Hurts didn't play very well last year. Played good in 2 games. Great in 2 games, actually. I agree with him. So does everybody else around the NFL. The only people that don't agree are you. You guys are the only ones that don't agree. All right, so let's get into this here. I have a couple questions for you. I think it was Acho on his show today, or was somebody, I can't remember what show it was. Eagles to repeat. 2 questions have to be answered. What are they? What are they? J-Mac will Diddy Sills. Who? Sills out here selling the fight like McGregor. Love it. Oh, I'm the greatest promoter in the history of fight promoting when it comes to sports talk. Bet your ass. Pack J-Mac up like a FedEx package express shipping. Absolutely. This is good right here. This is a good take. Health and complacency. I don't think complacency, though, LJ. Give me 2 things. Answer 2 questions. Let's see what Bob Brown's got to say. Can the passing game evolve, and can the new faces produce? That's a great take. That's a great take. Joseph, guys are on your A game today. LJ, way to start it out. Cornerback and health. Okay? All of these are big wins. Let's see. Let's see Dick Stick. We won't read him. Let's see here. Week 13. Do we feel past the game issue? Week 13. Jalen, do you feel past the game issue should be brought up? No. The passing game should be brought up if that's where you're going with it, James. Offense and defense being complementary. Yes. Early on, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your offense stays on the field and wants to make sure that you get time of possession on your side so that the defense can come along. Look at LJ, man. Holy shit. This guy's throwing 2 haymakers, and this guy's actually landing. Can the young defense stay hungry, or are they feeling themselves? These are great takes by him. 2 in a row, too, by the way. I love what you guys are doing. I'm going to give you my 2 answers here in a minute. Patullo at OC and experience on defense. Okay? Great takes, guys. 2 questions. Okay? Development and health. Here's the only problem that I have with people that say health. You can't legislate that. You can't predict or you can't prepare, I don't think, for that. You think the Lions were trying to do everything in their power a year ago to protect from injuries, losing Aiden Hutchinson, losing one of their top running backs? Right? Look at M. Reyes here. Seriously, Bob Lang must be his dad, the PR director for the Bucs. Dude, that must be your dad. The only 2 questions are how many points will we win the Super Bowl by, and what kind of champagne do we want when we celebrate? It's going to be Aste Spumante. M. Reyes is going to celebrate with Aste Spumante, 1999. My grandpa loved that, by the way, with orange juice. It's all good. And a little sugar tablet. So, yeah. Do we dare go to LJ again? No way. Hang on here. Depth will be tested this year. Both times we won the Super Bowl, we had the deepest teams in the league. Next man up. LJ, to your point, I said this back in 17 before I was even covering your team. That was the best group of D-line, O-line combinations I had ever seen. And that was even with you losing Jason Peter. And then you turn around this past year, he had the same thing. Absolutely true. This guy's 3 for 3. Holy shit. Said of taking dumps, not that he won't. Those are 3 great right out of the gate here. Guys are killing it. Very proud of you, man. No. I wouldn't go that far. Depth and desire. Here's my take. Eagles to repeat. I have 2 questions. Okay? 2 questions. The health of Barkley and the secondary. I think you can get away with the edge guys you have. I think you can. You did a year ago. I mean, look, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and Josh Sweat is what you really kind of had a year ago, right? Okay. Bryce Huff did play 300 snaps, but really they were non-factor snaps. By the way, how about J-Mac this morning trying to throw kudos around himself by saying just because Vic Fangio said that that he thought that he'd have success in San Francisco. I disagree. I think that guy did, and he was patting Howie on the head with that comment. And some would go, Sills, you think Vic lies? No. I think that was more wishful hoping that the kid had success out in San Francisco because he likes him than it was anything else. Why in the world would that guy have success in San Francisco? Because he's with Robert Saleh? Robert Saleh's the one that let him walk out the building along with Joe Douglas. Why in the world would that guy have any kind of success? That wasn't a comment where if you listen to that comment basically was, hey, I hope he has success in San Francisco. That's what it sounded like to me. His hand? Well, let me ask you something. Somebody in here, Bob. Help me out, Bob. Xander, too, if any of you guys would like. Did Hassan Reddick start out the 2023 year with a cast on his hand? Did he start out with a cast on his hand? Hassan Reddick? First 5 games of the year, did he have a cast on his hand? I remember, because I'm hearing that, well, he had an injury. How many sacks did he have that year? Thank you, LJ. First 6 games, Reddick had a cast on his hand. How many sacks did Hassan Reddick end up with in 2023? And it was a bad year for him. How many? Somebody know? What was 11 and a half? 10 and a half? That was considered a bad year and you moved off him. Well, he had an injury. That dude had an injury. He still had double-digit sacks. This guy has an injury. He looks like a turd. Seals Prince out of the gate. Real question is whether the depth is the same as last year. Great take. Keep in mind we had the same, and Vic said exactly this, Prince. You're dead on. And you're right. I guess maybe my place is with this. Can you do it again? Can you rely on that dynamic again 2 years in a row? I think this comes down to Barkley's health. And I think this comes down to the secondary. How are you going to figure out the pieces? And I would say this right now. Your linebacking core is not very good. You're back to 23. After what I heard Vic Fangio say, starting Jeremiah Trotter next to Zach Bond, not me. That's not good enough. This can't be LJ. This has got to be his wife or his girlfriend because these are great. He's right. Because here's what you're going with. The way Vic sounded, Jacoby and John Campbell are not going to be ready for the start of the season. Not going to be ready. So you're going with a rookie and Trotter next to Zach Bond. Is that right? Right? So this guy's under the impression schemes make players. That's not true. A defensive coordinator makes players, not a scheme. They're going to scheme up the best around the talent you have in the building. That's why they're moving Cooper DeJean around. Okay? You got to figure out who the players are. How do you know who Jahad Campbell is? How do you know who Trotter is? Until you see him playing. Here, I'll explain it to you because this is something that will fly over Reyes' head. Every year will be a different look, just like every year will be a different look for your defense like your offense. Because of the personnel you have on your football team, because of the immense turnover at 18% that you have every year. Every defense is not the same every year because of what's left and what you add. All new faces. You don't just run a 43 because the coach's forte is 43. You run what's in the building, and you run what talent you have on the field. So that's probably over M. Reyes' head, which I would totally understand. Being Bob Lang's son, okay, that he would want to hype it up. So he wouldn't really, he's not going to look at it any other way other than he still thinks they're the number one defense in the NFL, even though they've lost 5 guys. That's all right. That's who he is. Got to keep going to LJ here. Fangio's like Stoutland now. Players either buy in or they're gone. Yes, and that's why Tyler Steen's got a big year coming up, a.k.a. Devin White and also Bryce Huff. Tyler Steen's got to win the job or he will be considered a bust, in my opinion. Kimberly, thank you very much. I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Again, all super chats go to the top. We appreciate you guys big time here. I'm going to put this out there. I heard Johnny Mack say something that was really cool. And I completely 1,000% agree with this. Okay? 1,000% agree. And this is how I heard it. And Xander, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Xander, even because he asked the question to John, what'd you make of that comment by Vic on Jordan Davis not being ready? Okay? What did you make of that comment? And I'm with him on the comment. He's fat and he's out of shape to start the season a year ago. And I'm going to hold to that he got in shape because he showed up and he's not disciplined. He's not a disciplined player. Now, can you grow into one? Yes. Yes, you can. And he did. I'm going to tell you this about Jordan Davis. John's sitting around those guys and those guys asking the question. And then Vic saying, I don't want to answer the question on why he wasn't in shape. John agrees with me. And that's what that was. I asked Clint Hurt that last night. He wasn't in the bed. He didn't come. Jordan Davis did not come into the season in good enough shape to play 3 downs. Can I make a point that I said this to Clint Hurt last night? Maybe this is what's holding him back on being a 3-down player, is his commitment to the game. Are you committed to the game? I question your commitment. I mean, you're not committed to the game. That's the easiest thing to do, is be in shape. I said this. I said, dog, if you're not committed to the game, it's going to show up that you're not in shape. Now, from what I'm hearing, he showed up this year in these OTAs, and he looks the best he's ever looked. Is that a reflection off of what Jalen Carter and everyone else are telling him, that this year it's a big year for you and we're going to need to rely on you? Those two guys are the key to your defense. They're the key. Stop the run. Do you know how many things that you can do with multiple fronts helps your secondary? Even if you're limited in your secondary, look at what you had with James Bradbury. That 70 sack season in 2022 got James Bradbury a 3-year contract extension, did it not? And he wasn't that good. He was a too-high safety guy, and he was a too-high safety guy. The following year, you didn't get the same type of reps, and the guy fell off the planet, right? He fell off the planet. At the end of the day, you got to ask Jordan Davis, are you committed to the game? Is he committed to being great? I'm going to make a point to you again. I want to show you something here. This guy, you know, looking at Jordan Davis, he may have more talent than Jalen Carter. And I'm going to make a point to you. I looked at it earlier. I should have kept this up. Jordan Davis here. Let me show you something here. Here, Georgia stats. Okay, I'm gonna pull a point up here. Here's his college stats, which are pathetic. So he had 25 tackles, 18 tackles, 15 tackles, 32 tackles. And here were his sacks: 1.5, 2.5, 1, 2.5. In 4 years, he had 7 sacks. That's horrible. Get this. Just to show you this on what this means. And I played on a national championship team too. I had 100 tackles, 104. He had 91 in 4 years. 7 sacks in 4 years. I had 104 tackles and 10 sacks in 1 season. It was the first team All-American. Okay? At least I was productive. That guy's never lived up to who he is. You can't be this big and this talented and this good and not have a commitment to the game. He's 6'6", 340 pounds, and he runs a 4.78. I saw him at the combines, and Carl Dunbar, who runs the combines, is shocked that he's not further along. He's saying he's not. He's really a good, and as LJ I saw say, he's a run stop guy. He shouldn't be a run stop guy. That guy's got talent, the same type of talent that Jalen Carter has. If I'm not mistaken, Carter was the 9th pick? Okay, so wait. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Jordan Davis was taken 5 picks later than Jalen Carter. How can you look at Jalen Carter and then Jordan Davis and go like this? How can it be that different? And one guy might have more talent. This morning I mentioned that, Sills. JD is crucial for them to avoid the double teaming of Carter. Absolutely true. People who say he sucks don't watch football. He doesn't suck, dude. It's his commitment to the game. You're right. He's just lazy. That's laziness. If you're not fucking prepared to play, you're a professional. Guys, I know why I'm upset with him. I wasn't prepared mentally. Okay? I was not prepared mentally to play in the NFL. I was mentally lazy. I wasn't physically lazy. And it kills me every single day of my entire life that I did not take the game once. And I don't even know how it morphed into that. I have no idea how it ended up getting there. Maybe it was the shitty losing, but I'm not making excuses here. He doesn't have the mindset like Carter Dog. He does. Jordan Davis should be playing like Vita Vea. Completely true. And he's got the ability to do it. When I heard, once again, when I heard John McMullen say, yeah, I'm not going to call him a lazy ass, like the word, but Xander's right. The word is he's undisciplined. Dude, how in the world can you show up to football and you're not in shape, in professional football to boot? He's doing the same shit he did at Georgia. He never lived up to the ability that he has. Okay? Go watch his film. I do. He's a 2-down fucking player. And the Eagles weren't sold on him. Get this. You see this dickhead here? If the Eagles were so sold, guy, why didn't they give him a 3-year extension? They gave him a wait and see. Where's his 3-year deal? He's eligible for it. If they thought so much of him, why didn't they give him the 3-year deal? Can you answer that? Or no? Watch his tape. The Eagles did. You know why they didn't give him a 3-year extension? They're questioning his commitment to the fucking game. JD's the guy who goes to work and does the bare minimum, and he's the guy who could do 10 times more. Okay? Crowley. Who said this? Not you. Crowley sucks sometimes. Those takes are done by him. Still played this position. Because I see way more upside. He should be so much further along as a football player, man. Sills, if Davis does not commit to his conditioning, he will turn into Albert Hainsworth. Another guy who let the ball roll and kicked the can down the road. Okay? Niche players aren't 13th pick and 3-year contract extension guys and $18 million a year players. Biggest difference in Kirby and Saban is Saban's guys were immediate pros with work ethic. And again, I'll add this, and commitment to the game. That could be. Isn't it funny? that it's taken, and every single guy that came out of Georgia almost outside of Jalen Carter were injured at Georgia. Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, all these guys were banged up at Georgia. Okay? I mean, I've been saying this for a while. Need to get Davis on Juicy would be awesome. Also, Juicy shows commitment to the game. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. Here's our – yes. Yes. Let me say this to you. If that guy put a 6-sack season up and 50 tackles in a season, playing the same way, maybe not even as great as Dexter Lawrence, could he be a Dexter Lawrence? Yeah, I think he's got the ability to be a Dexter Lawrence, but he'll never be that guy until he puts a commitment into the game. When I heard John say that comment today, that was maybe the most disappointing thing that I heard. And you know what the coaches are doing right now? They're encouraged. Here, let me ask you something. How in the world can you be encouraged that a guy showed up in shape? And that's one of the things you're praising? Hey, thank you very much for not robbing a bank. You really mean that I have to sit here and give Jordan Davis kudos for showing up in shape? Where the fuck do you think you're playing? You're playing for the world champion Eagles, dude. And here, you're going to be relied on this year because of the losses you had on your team and the question marks you have in the back end of your defense. I don't know how good it's going to be in the back end of your defense. Okay, but I know this. Carter and Davis are going to be essential if you're going to compete and contend. They have to be. I think Carter will. Will Jordan? Hey, get this. This is the thing you're hearing now. Hey, man, Jordan Davis looks like the best shape he's ever been in. He looks really great. So fucking what? Oh, congratulations. Doing your job? How dumb is that? How weak is that? How lame is that? I want to be giving kudos for somebody showing leadership and playing their ass off. Not for 5 games. LJ with another homer. Just because you can't read doesn't mean it's a bad take. You're still mad at me for asking you, what have you done? My conversation with my career has no fucking bearing on my topic, douchebag. None. What have I done? Okay, I'll tell you what I've done. I've played 7 years of pro ball and I was drafted 56th overall. What the fuck have you done? Who are you? What are you, a guy sitting at your rec league? Playing flag football with your boys? Honestly, what have you ever done? What have you ever done? When you're asking me that. Dude, I'd rather have been than never been. Try that out for size. Honestly, dude, have you ever had a professional contract in your life? And I'm not talking about at a porn place where you look through a peephole. Not like someone wants a pat on the back for showing up for work. Right. Think about this for a second. Hey, congratulations to you, Mason worker. Okay. Got me mad? No, didn't get me mad. Why would I be mad at Crowley? I don't give a shit what he says. Sills, that's one of the downsides to drafting all the Georgia guys. They love the guy and don't appear willing to challenge JD for more. Okay? That's when a true vet like Fletcher Cox rolls in and goes like this. Let's go, good. Let's go, dude. Ty Robinson will be better than JD. Might have more of a commitment. Okay? He might have more of a commitment. Okay? Yeah. Let's see here. Twiz. Sills was an all-pro water boy. Huff's got better stats. Okay. And what does this have to do with me? Your boy showing up not in shape and being a fat ass. What's that got to do with me? Jordan Davis being out of shape and not prepared to play. What does that have to do with me? Help me out. I'll wait, Twiz. What does Jordan Davis and the defensive coordinator yesterday wanting to pass over a question because he didn't want to go into why Jordan wasn't in shape early in the year? Help me out on that. I'll wait. Time's up. Seals, calm down. Crowley won Employee of the Month at Burger King. First team All-Pro burger flipper. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Crowley with the I don't even know what that fucking means. Okay. This can't be correct. I don't know what we're doing here, man. I don't know. This I'm feeling ALJ, you and me are, I don't know, man. This is a little weird. Seals' take on Davis is actually right. I can't believe I'm defending this guy. What in the upside down hand? Yeah. I say, well, it was Ron Burgundy. You got me there you got me there, LJ. On the last part of that, you got me there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here either, man. This is kind of feeling uncomfortable. Hey, LJ, will you do me a favor? Okay? Will you just call me an asshole now so I can feel better? Please call me an asshole. Please. I'm begging you. Please. Just call me an asshole. Call me fat or and the beluga something. I need my fix. Okay? Because I don't know. Help me out here. Okay? I mean, I got to, Jesus, gravity, man. I got to towel off here. Okay, silly. Here we go. Yeah, thank you. Oof, man, I feel way better now. Thank you very much. We're back to normal. Okay, yeah, now we're good here. Yeah, so I don't want to show up in shape. Holy shit. Hey, Jordan Davis, it's a damn shame. Okay? JD3, Sills ain't going to let you hit, bro. I've known, Crowley goes off the reservation. It's, bro, thank you. By the way, see this here? I gotta come around here and let me say it right. Crowley, thank you, dog. Okay. I appreciate it. I'll tell you the one thing, man. My boys and girls in here that come in here every single day, you got thick skin, and I appreciate that. Okay? See, look at this guy. I'm not sure what he comes in here for. It's for the algorithm. I think it is. This guy's takes look like he just fucking talks stupid shit. Like, that guy, I don't know, man. You talk about somebody who works in the PR department for the Bucks. It's all him. That guy right there is another guy that works in the PR department for the Bucks. Yeah, all good. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This guy, young Diddy, this guy's got the worst takes. And this guy right here is the king of them. I mean, he's got his own, he's got his own forum. It's Bad Takeville. Last time we had to depend on our offense, we started the year 10-1 with the defense 31st ranked without 26 and Vic against the third hardest schedule. We good. So you're going to have the hardest schedule in the National Football League this year, or one of them. And you think that you're going to roll into the same season that you did a year ago and pull off the same thing. I'm going to make a comment to you here. If you can't talk shit, log off. That's the take of the day right there. I'm going to make this point to you. Let's ask this question. You think the rest of the league has caught up with Philly, even with their step backs? By the way, I'm going to go over what some of the players said yesterday after OTAs. Bob Brown. Not yet. Now, I'm asking that question on June 4th. You know, in the season, when you lose, if you lose some people, I'm not saying you are, you've been very healthy the last 4 years. Very healthy. Okay? Very, very, very healthy. But do you think the league, I have to remind myself of this. LJ hooked me up here with this. I'll get back to JD here in a minute. I'm starting to cover the Bucs a little more. I look at the Bucs and I go, had the worst linebacker play in the NFL, and they had the worst safety play a year ago in the NFL. And then I look at the Philadelphia Eagles and I go, they had exceptional linebacker play, and they had exceptional safety play. They really had exceptional play in the secondary from corner to corner. Did they not? You guys agree? Think about it. Did every level play great and exceptional last year? Secondary, linebackers, and front. Shit, you didn't even blitz in the Super Bowl. Okay? Who had the better bitch slap? Carter to Holmes or Sills to Montana? I get that picture of me hitting Montana in the face. Carter, though, was pretty good. This is a great take. LJ is completely on fire today. No one caught up to us, but we took our foot off the gas a bit. Yeah, but I don't think you took your foot off the gas enough. So are you good enough? Like Emmanuel Acho says, the Eagles have to answer a couple questions. I didn't like his, and I don't even remember what they were. Mine is the health of Barkley and how your secondary looks. And if you can answer that, you're going to be right there. I think you're right there right now. I won't lie. The more I listen to Vic and the more concerns he has, the more comfortable I am. You heard what I said? When Vic answers my questions with the same way I'm looking, knowing what he did a year ago to resolve it, do we not agree? LJ, JD3, all you guys, do we not agree? Vic is saying the same things that I'm saying, but he has answers. He is an answer guy. What was the one thing in 2023 that the Philadelphia Eagles lacked? Do you guys know? Compared to what you did in 2024, what's the one significant difference when you listen to Vic Fangio and you listen to the coaches from 23? What is the one difference that you have in this offseason? As a matter of fact, after listening to Vic and watching what they're doing and listening to Howie, you know what feels to me? Okay, these guys understand where they are. Get this. Versatility. Practicing more reps. That's kind of it. We wouldn't run the 2-minute drill where it's shit on defense at 23. Okay? Versatility. Okay? Vic identifies weakness and doesn't throw flowers at past successes. Here's what I think you have. That's different from the 23 season. Okay? My industry, I tossed 4 reconditioned. Okay? Thank you very much, Kimberly, for the, okay? You have problem solvers. Jeff Stoutland's a problem solver. You had no problem solvers in 2023. You couldn't solve the riddle. That's why you had the meltdown. You couldn't fix, after you were 10-1, you didn't know how to answer it. Look at what you did last year and the coaches. Did Kellen Moore have a great year last year? No. Kellen Moore got the job in New Orleans because he solved the problem. They couldn't throw the ball with regularity for success. And they didn't care what ego was bent. AJ's, Hurts, not that there was, but they didn't care. They solved problems in the bye. What was the comment that even Nick Sirianni said? We had arguably, I'm paraphrasing here, we arguably had the most productive bye week since I've been here. I remember that line. And when I listened to Vic talking yesterday, he's like, hey, look, I have a lot of questions. The Keely Ringo thing, yeah, he needs reps. Vic is like a scientist right now, and he's trying to figure out the magic formula. And he's trying all kinds of remedies. This is what a coordinator does. And he's trying to make a scheme. The scheme you saw a year ago, I don't know if they're going to be in base ever. I don't know if they'll be in dime. I don't know if they'll be in nickel. But what Vic is doing here, Vic is doing this. What is going to give us the best ability for success? What's the strength of our team? What do you think the strength of the defense is right now? By the way, okay, if that defense is near the top 15, top 12, you're going to go to the NFC Championship game. And if you're in the top 5 or 10 in points allowed, that to me is the number one stat, is points allowed. Dude, you can have the best run defense. You can have the best pass defense. You're still giving up yards in red zone. It doesn't matter. Okay? Points against. That to me is the number one stat on defense. Is points against. Hit the like button, guys. Feels the best thing we got on defense is that we have the same coaching staff, the same problem solvers. Why Jeff Stoutland's value is two things. His in-season development, okay, and his ability to spot talent. Remember when I brought when we had on Chris Hinton? This kid's now playing for the Eagles, and he drafted him out of Michigan, his son, right? And I told him, I said, I've never seen anything like this, Chris. Whether you're first, second, or third team in Philadelphia, this guy gets you the same amount of reps every single practice. And they do multiple rotations. Lane Johnson gets the same reps as Trevor Keegan. And he's like, that's incredible. Nobody does that. You know why? There's not a lot of offensive line coaches that have the confidence in themselves and have the great eye for talent. That is a luxury that very few teams in the league, if any, have. Do you understand how great that is? Here's what most teams do. You have a first and second team and you have a scout team. And when you're preparing for a week, remember, there's only, back in my day, there were 47. Now there's 53 dudes. Okay? This is what Stoutland does. You get 5 reps, you get 5 reps, you get 5 reps. It goes probably 3 deep in about an hour and a half practice when it comes to team drills. Team drills is where you find out where you are in the depth chart. If you're getting reps on team, whether it's OTAs, minicamp, training camp, if you're getting reps, that coach has got you in his eyesight. And if you're on film, he's going to constantly be looking, going, there's my swing tackle. And he's going to identify a role for you. That's the key. Vic Fangio and Jeff Stoutland are the best coaches on that staff, and they're not even fucking coordinators. They make the coordinators look good. Who got Kellen Moore that job last year? Was it Nick Sirianni? It was Jeff Stoutland. How in the world do you look at it and go, yeah, Nick, the passing game didn't get better, it got worse. Well, so, and I'm not debating whether you can do it or not. The problem was they didn't want to do it. And they didn't care to do it. They wanted to run the ball. And they said, fuck it, we're running it. That's exactly what they did. Whether you think you can or not is irrelevant. It is. That debate, who cares? They went like this. Fuck it, we're not throwing it. We are going to run the ball. And they pivoted. They were problem solvers. They could spot. Look at Vic Fangio is the same as Jeff Stoutland. He's the same. Why? He sees a special teams guy playing in the secondary. He sees a guy at linebacker who played special teams in New Orleans. And he always said it, and he said something last year that I'll never forget. If you're pretty good on special teams, you got a pretty good chance of being a good linebacker with skill set that I'm looking for, which means you're versatile. Why? Why is it important to find your talent if you can play special teams? Why do you think? You got to play kickoff team, kickoff return, punt block, extra point, field goal. When you're playing all those different skill sets, there's 7 of them. When you could play on special teams, kickoff return, punt return, not everybody can do that. And you got a linebacker that can play all that? Well, shit, man, I'm going to give him a shot at inside LB. And that's correct. Open field tackling. Look at the space you have to do tackling in open field on kickoffs. Right? You have open space. The game's played in space. How many times have you heard Vic say that? Okay? Playing in space. That's special teams. That's where he gets his talent from. It's pretty good stuff, man. Okay? I mean, they got problem solvers. So listening to Vic and hearing him, by the way, again, let's get back to JD here in a second. But dude, man, I mean, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better about your unit. On that side of the ball, quite frankly, your offense, they just got to get their shit together. That football team a year ago did not play up to their ability, and they still won the fucking Super Bowl. That's how good you are. You hear what I just said? You play B+ football, not A football, and you were the champs. I'm sorry, man. If you look at it any other way, you're not looking at it in the positive light with the glass half full the other way. Okay? B+ football you played on offense. You played A+ football on defense. And you have so much more room to be better. I saw a question. Somebody asked me, Sills, do you think that if the football team had Vic Fangio in 2023, it would have been a different story? I'll make one better for you. If you had done the right thing and not allowed the Miami Dolphins to jump the gun on you in 2022, you'd have won a Super Bowl. You would have won the Super Bowl. Okay? You would have won it. Get this. Here. This guy's a dummy. He's not looking at it right. This guy's a fucking idiot. You played B+ football on offense and won the Super Bowl. There's more room for improvement. Your quarterback was not very good last year. I don't care what you say. In the regular season, he was not very good. And there's more room for improvement. This guy was one of the worst quarterbacks last year in the league. And you were still dominant. Stupid take. The defense was really good. The defense wasn't really good. The defense was insane great. But so was the offense. Birds hung 50. Bro, Charlie, Like I said, you have way more room to improve. Stop being so sensitive. Okay, wins over stats? Bro, wins over stats? That's not how you won ball games. You won ball games with your quarterback not having to do shit. That's how you won games. Ran the ball, you played lights out defense. You guy played great in 2 games that mattered. Understood. That's what the season was. It's no shame. See, you're not hearing me, though. You are far ahead of everyone in the league, and you played B-plus football. You're not listening to me. If you play A football, you're undefeated. Nobody beats you. And it's not, you would play like, get this. How many people in here, M. Reyes is so full of shit that his eagle green eye coloring, I'm going to start calling him M. Lang. That's his new name, M. Lang. How many people believe that the Eagles could play like they did against the Kansas City Chiefs every single week if they played up to their ability? I do. Unstoppable. A boy bend over. I love it. Be unstoppable. Unstoppable. Okay? Just completely unstoppable. Unstoppable. The quarterback wasn't. Still, special teams guys get very little coaching because specials are thrown in late in practice. Correct. That's why the great coaches start off with special teams first. Like John Harbaugh starts off his practices with special teams. It's not the end of practice with those coaches. Those guys need to process information quickly and have a high IQ on, because you got to play in multiple groups. Absolutely. No question about it. Okay. Kyle says, I understand you saying B plus because of what the potential is. Correct. However, the way they dominated all season in the run, okay. Hard not to give him an A. I think, sure, A plus for running the ball. No problem. That's not an A plus unit. Not when you're 30th and the potential's there for you to be better. How many people in here believe the Eagles are happy with their performance a year ago and don't think there's room for improvement? You think Jalen Hurts thinks that? You think Jalen Hurts was happy with his performance a year ago? I've heard him say he's not. And there's always room for improvement. And I need to improve. I heard him say that. But you don't hear it. Okay. I mean, it's funny. I say the same thing the players and coaches say, and you don't want to hear it. The same thing. I have the same question marks that Vic has. And yet when I say them, he echoes them. I said Davis is not disciplined. He theoretically pretty much told you he wasn't. And, you're trying to tell me he is. When a coach doesn't want to answer if that guy is not and why he wasn't in shape, it's not because of something else. It's because that player wasn't ready. Sills, get the drill going. Got a lot of beef in the chat. JAKIB Sports, baby. Let's F and G. Hey, man. Just telling you, Prince, you've had some Grand Slam along with LJ's. Great stuff. Dude, your football team is in a position, that offense, especially, hey, look, with the money that you pay, I want more production. I want Saquon to kill it. I want Hurts to kill it. I want the passing game and the running game to kill it. And then get this, nobody's close to you. We're having our own Diddy party. You're invited, Sills. Leave me out of that shit. That's like for LaDiddy James and guys like that. I don't hang out at those kind of places. No, thank you. That's like going to bars with dudes. Like M. Reyes and Crowley and them guys hanging out, sitting there talking sports at the corner of the bar, and there's like 50 chicks in the bar. And they're sitting there talking to themselves. Who do you think the Eagles should take in the 5th round? What do you think, buddy? No, Bob. What do you think, Clyde? There's always a Clyde in that crowd. Hey, Clyde, what do you think, Clint? I don't know. Clyde, hey, Stanley, what do you think? I don't know, man. There's a Stanley, there's a Clint, there's a Clyde. Always in crowds like that, I mean, yeah. So, yeah. I ain't buying you a drink, Sills. I'll let another man do that. That's right, too, dude. I don't buy dudes drinks, man. I buy a couple guys drinks. Like you buy 3 or 4 guys. You don't go up to a guy and go, hey, can I buy you a drink? That's not working either for me. Nah, I'd rather drink water. Hey, Big Sills, you want a drink? Who's buying? The guy down the end of the bar. Nah, it's all right. I'm not, no. Why? You worried about something? Nope. I don't know. Nope. I don't know. I have no understanding. Nope. Okay. Hey. M. Reyes, I know, right? So let me ask you if Hurts put up the same numbers Lamar did and Barkley drops to Henry numbers and Eagles losing the playoffs. What do you call that? I call that what round are you in, Anthony? So let me get this right. If Hurts puts up the same numbers Lamar did and Barkley drops to Henry numbers, what was that, 1931? Well, I don't know if that's that far a drop. Derrick Henry had 1,931 yards a year ago. So what did he drop, 70 yards? Okay, he dropped 70 yards. You would have to add an additional 1,100 yards passing and 20 touchdowns passing to equal the Lamar numbers. And the Eagles losing the playoffs, what would you call that? I'd say that Jalen had a good year, a great year. I would say that Barkley had a great year. They did have great years. They had great years. Their team didn't fulfill the winning mark. That's a team thing. You're trying to fucking tell me you think Lamar had a bad year? Are you fucking drunk? Or Henry had a bad year? Those guys were phenomenal. Their team failed. You could make the argument, yes, Lamar had a better year than Josh Allen. Josh Allen got the MVP because there's nothing on his team, and he carried them to the conference title game. That's why he won the MVP. He played better every week. Again, when I watched Lamar versus the Eagles, that's when I said this. I think Jalen Hurts sees the game better than Lamar. I think he sees the game better. I think he's smarter than Lamar. I do. I think he's smarter. I think he processes where he is on the field a little better. Again, the only problem and why Hurts is considered not a very good pocket passer, if you want to go by PFF, not just me, is because he takes those shitty sacks. Says the B+ works. Rushing attack A+, C+. If the passing attack improves to B+, you're going to be unbeatable, Bob. Absolutely. I think they underachieved in the playoffs. They did. But don't sit here and tell me that again. He had a sensational year. Jalen Hurts put up 4,100 passing yards and 41 TD passes and 4 interceptions. The quarterback is evolving. You're not going to win the Super Bowl every year, Anthony. But you want to be in the conversation every year. You're not going to win it every year. Nobody wins it every year. Okay? That's not what it is. Nobody wins 3 in a row. Nobody's ever won 3 in a row. There's 9 teams that have won 2 in a row in the 60 years of the Super Bowl. What are you thinking? Do you know how many teams have won 3 Super Bowls or 3 championships in a row? The last team to do it is the late 60s Packers. What are you talking about? When players have great years, you recognize them. This is a team sport. Okay? You won because you were great on both sides of the football. You were dominant on defense and you were dominant on offense. Gee, that sounds exactly like the 17 team. If you don't have balance like that, and get this, you were so good running the ball, you were historic. How many people believe that you were historic a year ago running the ball? How many people believe that they were historic? How many people in running the ball? How many people believe that? Geez, thank God, Daniel, somebody gets it in here. Okay? Thank God somebody gets it. Of course it was. You were not historic in throwing the ball. You had to be historic to win the Super Bowl. Sorry. Okay. Really? Huh. Gee. What's that mean? I don't know what that means. What's that mean? What yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that I don't know. I plead the fifth. I don't know what that means. I don't know. What'd you hear? I didn't hear anything. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Here, hang on for a second. Odyssey's next. What? Hey, sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to pull a Vic Fangio. Hey, I'm going to pass on that question. I'm going to pass. Okay? Right? Of course we can improve. I feel very good about the Eagles, though. They're looking through this. This guy bent over is awesome. I'm telling you, man. I feel better having heard Vic this week about your chances than ever before. I really do. Okay? I just absolutely better than anything. By the way, Battle Royale has been changed from 4:30 Eastern, as we always do it on a Friday, or excuse me, Wednesday, to today we are doing it at 3:30. We're going to do it at the bottom of the hour down here, okay? Philly 500 and Mark Holmes. We'll see if they show. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. By the way, we've been getting text messages from our friend Philly 500 going like this and saying, hey, man, I got to tell you, Mark is really starting to melt down, and I'm starting to feel for him here. And, okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so we're just, we're making sure here that he's going to show here. So hang on here. I want to make sure here. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if he's, I'm making sure that he's here. Okay. Right. Just double checking. All right. Yes. So he will be here, I believe. All right. Let me get back to JD here before these guys come aboard here with us. Look, dude, that guy has so much more room for improvement, and that guy needs to show up this year in shape, mentally and physically. I'm going to say this on June 4th. I question his commitment to the game. I question it. I don't want to hear any fucking excuses about a league-wide thing. Only thing you can worry about is a you thing. I don't care what they're doing in Dallas. I don't care what they're doing in Chicago. And I don't care what they're doing in New York. I don't care. You can only control the environment around you. This is about you. You know, if you're Jordan Davis, that $11.2 million you just signed, are you happy or are you disappointed? Then picking that 50-year option up, are you disappointed or are you happy? I hope somebody asks him that question. Are you happy that the Eagles picked up your 50-year option? Yes or no? If you're him, would you be happy? Let me hear what people think. Would you be happy? Look at Steve. Yes. In my opinion, Ravens were a better team all last year than the Eagles until the postseason. Once the playoffs started, they fell flat. All these stats mean nothing. All these stats mean nothing without a conference appearance. Absolutely. So look at this. There's a guy in here that says he's happy with the 50-year option being picked up. Crowley with a win. I'd be pissed off. Yeah. And the Bucks beat you. And I would be pissed. Abanez. I'd be pissed. Yes. 11-2 versus a 3-year contract and giving me a signing bonus of potential. Everybody else in Philly that they like gets an extension. That's how you know they're not happy with him. They like him. You know what they're telling you? We kind of like you. They're not telling you that they're fully endorsed with you. Okay? They're telling you they're not completely sold on you. Do you agree? When you hear Vic talking like that, okay? When you hear him talking like that, and you see the team's actions, yeah, Davis hasn't earned an extension in their eyes. That's correct. That's underachieving. Because you're not in shape? That's a you thing. That's a commitment thing. Dude, it's one thing to go like this. Guy got injured. Guy was hurt. Guy was this. Guy was that. You know, I mean, it's another thing to go, well, he just wasn't really at the beginning of the year in good shape. And we saw it in Tampa. We saw it in Tampa. He was terrible in that game. Okay? Now, maybe what his agent told him. Let's do this. He missed out on, let me go here. Let's see, 18, 36, 8, 4, 4, 5. He missed out on $54 million versus 11 to Jordan Davis. You got a D coordinator in Philadelphia doing this. I'm going to pass on that question on why he wasn't in shape at the beginning of the year. For the Eagles to be great this year, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter have to be exceptional. Man, the worst thing I would ever want to hear is a D coordinator going, and figure this out. A media guy doing this. Coach, why did it take Jordan Davis to get into shape the last 7 games of the year? Well, I'm going to pass on that. Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. He answers the question by not answering the question. You don't need rocket science to figure that out. And by the way, was anybody else not in shape on that defense? Carter was in shape. Fuck, that guy played great from week 1 to week 20. He was great from week 1 to week 20. That guy was. Wasn't like the year ago in 23 when he fell off the planet like the other fat guy did. He excelled this year. Shit, you had Zach Baum playing multiple positions. You had guys all over the field that were so. Do you know what kind of shape you have to be? You know why he's probably pissed off that Fat Body Davis wasn't in shape? You know why? Because every guy on that team is a fucking 3-down player except him. Because why? He's not conditioned. I mean, get in shape, dude. God knows how good he could be. Here's the disappointing thing to hear. Man, how good could Jordan Davis be if he laid off the White Castle burgers? That tells you that he may have more ability than Jalen Carter. Okay? Yeah. Hey, here's the difference, dickbag. I'm 60. He's 23. 11% body fat when I was 23 years old. I enjoy being fat now. I carved this body out of pizza and wings perfectly here. That's how I do it, baby. I have sculpted this body just like my boy Philly 500. Absolutely. So wait a minute here. Battle Royale. By the way, these guys here, these 2 guys and these 2 freaks that we have here have now spawned another Battle Royale. Are you ready? Angelo Cataldi and Howard Eskin have agreed to do a Battle Royale right here on this program. Okay? We'll get to the supers, I promise you guys, after this segment. All right. Cowboys. Holy cow. You should have seen the text message me and Xander got on Mark having meltdowns. Without further ado, let's bring the dudes in here. And this is Battle Royale. It is Mark Holmes, who's looking forward to a big season when he comes to the Dallas Cowboys. And also the legend, the man, the champ, Philly 500. He joins us now here.
What's up?
How you guys doing, man?
Doing great.
I'm kicking. I just don't know what to expect, man. You know, at some point I get tired of taking shit. And so I gotta stand up for my team and so on. You loudmouth fat ass. That's what you like being these days, right?
Yeah. I think he's talking to you, Sills, because he ain't talking to me.
Wait a minute here.
You said your chiseled 300 fat ass.
Hey, Sills, did you hear the latest reason why Dak has only won 2 playoff games?
Oh,
because
Lord.
the water boy, they didn't have enough water boys. They didn't get his H2O. He did not have the right amount of H2O. So,
needs high
can't blame
quality
Dak.
H2O.
H2O, man, was bad H2O.
Like that guy Bobby, whatever his name was. Wait a minute, the guy Bobby, what's his name on Waterboy?
Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, Bobby Boucher. Yeah. They didn't have a Bobby Boucher.
They didn't have a Bobby Boucher. Another reason why Dak didn't win. You can't blame him if he doesn't have H2O. You know, might get cramps. I'm going to throw another interception. Another interception. Mark is fully shit. One fat ass talking to another fat ass. This guy's so full of it. Let me tell you something. This guy baits Eagle fans all week long with his ridiculous videos. I sent you links to his ridiculous videos. And then when people come at him or respond, he goes, "Hey, what are you bothering me for? I'm just a Cowboy fan over here, just trying to produce
over here on my
trying to produce some content."
Look, I get fake Philly 500s coming in and trolling me. Okay, it's bad enough that I got the real Philly 500 coming in. And you Eagle fans, listen, you Eagle fans are going balls deep that, you guys are the greatest thing since Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers, that you're going to win the next 10 straight Super Bowls, that, nobody can touch you.
Who said that?
Y'all do. Y'all do. But although I think you're scared to say that you're going to beat the Cowboys come September 4th.
We're going to beat the Cowboys. September 4th, we're going to beat the Cowboys.
Can I pencil it down? Is there a bet?
Yeah, you're going to beat the Cowboys. Sure, we'll make a bet.
Hey, Philly, how many videos after the program will we see that you now have put a proclamation down that you believe that the Eagles are going to win on September 4th?
I mean, is that surprising? What Eagle fan thinks is not going to win? Of course, I think they're going to win.
Woo!
Of course.
Why are you feeling so confident, Mark?
I didn't say I was confident. I'm just saying that I believe me, half of my fan base are Eagle fans that come in here. They just literally come in here just talking shit. I can't even get my regular program on, because I'm sitting here fighting off these guys because they're always telling me about how, say you're going to beat us. You guys suck. Dak's a choker. Your coach is an idiot. Jerry Jones is 8,000 years old and everything else. And it's like, okay, if y'all are so confident, why don't you say, we going to kick your ass September 4th?
We're going to kick your ass September 4th.
Oh, there it is.
You finally said it. How about you were scared?
No.
We're
going to double moonwalk that ass. No,
you're going to moonwalk that
and you should, because, the Cowboys, we got a new coach. Of course, we got the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL, and Dak Prescott.
It's a regular season.
The only reason why they have Dak Prescott is they're doing charity work, because it's hire kids to be quarterback.
You got to bring the pressure down, right, Mark?
There's Micah Parsons, who's overrated.
You don't want him to have to choke.
George Pickens, who's a cancer. Okay.
Oh, you see what he's doing?
There's Mozzie.
I know.
Mozzie. I wish I was Jordan Davis.
Hold on. This is what he does.
Hey, this is Lou Holtz stuff like this. I don't know how we're gonna beat this. No idea how we're gonna do this. No idea how we're gonna beat him.
Mark is that kid at school who bullies another kid, and then he gets hit in the face, and he goes, "I don't know why he punched me. I don't know why he hit me back."
No.
Hey,
shit.
It's the truth.
Hey, Philly.
You look at all the videos he does.
Knock it off, Philly. I wish I had a battery. Okay. I put a battery up here. Knock it off.
What?
I dare
Your
you.
arm not working?
Mark, I don't think people understand the reference unless you're our age.
I'm pretty old, and I don't even know what
knock it off. I dare you.
I'm old. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Hey, Sills, I did want to say, though, I heard about your little battle royale you guys got going on. What do you get?
Oh, you guys inspired it.
Well, you should.
Is there a royalty for this?
It's going to be like a whole day. Is it like the main event with like
no. You know what I should do? I should put you two guys on because you guys started this shit.
We'll be the undercard.
So
we'll have. Is there a paycheck involved?
Look at you, man. Always like a Dallas Cowboy, isn't he? Always like a Dallas Cowboy, never worried about me.
We put the fans in the stands, okay? Let's be serious. Okay. It's not that you love me being here. It brings the fans to the stands, bro. Come on.
Such a Cowboy. Such a Dallas Cowboy comment right there, man. Right there. No, you are Mark Prescott from now on.
Hey, I wish I had his money.
Here, Mark.
Oh, look at that. Did you see him light up? When
He's got paid and he's making babies. And he's building a new mansion. They just broke ground on it. So, you know what? I wouldn't mind being that guy.
Mark's eyes just got real wide. He was like, oh, my God.
Mark Prescott. Billy, I got a question for you out of the gate. Speaking of fat asses here, I got to tell you what a guy made a comment on a fat ass. When asked at the press conference, why did it take Jordan Davis to get in shape towards the end of the year? He went like this. I'm going to pass on that because I could be here all day. That, to me, is a sign of lack of commitment to the game. When you're not in shape, when you start the season out, nobody on that Eagle defense was not in condition. I mean, and I'm hearing good things, Philly. Clint Hurt told me he's in fabulous shape. The $11 million that he got, if I'm him, I'm not happy about that because the Eagles like to give contract extensions, not 50-year options. That's a wait and see. Your whole take on that when Vic kind of called it out a little bit that he wasn't really ready to play last year.
I mean, we've been talking about this with Jordan Davis for 2 years, Sills. I mean, how many times have we talked about he's got to be better conditioned? He's got to be better. I mean, I've said it over and over again. Not surprising. I think Jordan Davis, I think it may be a maturity thing. Like, he's one of those guys. Like, I had a friend.
Donuts.
And eggnog. Me and him were pounding eggnog, but that's a whole nother story. But like, I had a friend that was in school. Like, he was the smartest kid in class. He didn't study. He would read books, do other things, and he would get the highest grades. As soon as he got to college where he had to put work in, he had a problem. He couldn't do it because he never had to apply himself. I think with Jordan Davis, maybe, being so big and so talented, he never really had to apply himself to be, taking care of himself and making sure he's conditioned enough. Now he's got to do that at the NFL. I don't look at it as like a horrible thing. I look at it as like we're talking about, like, at least it seems like he's figuring it out. And that's the good thing.
It is. Mm-hmm. To you, Mark, who's Brian Schottenheimer?
Who's playing Schottenheimer? What do you mean?
Who is he? Who is he?
Well, I tell you what, your buddy, Michael Irvin, who, we were supposed to get together, with Michael Irvin and stuff.
Life is still working for us here, boss. Okay, there's no time.
Well, he went off when the Cowboys hired Schottenheimer. And he looked at it and said, you lost an opportunity. You should have went out there and got prime time and everything. And, he basically said that this is just another internal hiring, another yes man. Until last week, when he ended up going to the facilities and spending time with them during OTAs.
I saw that.
And Michael Irvin has done a 180, and it seems like, one, he's embracing the Cowboys past and the legend players. He's looking for accountability, and he's looking to motivate guys. So you feel like there's a lot more energy in the building right now. Now, of course, energy is great when you're wearing a helmet and shorts and you're not really hitting. When you get down there in fourth quarter and you're getting your ass handed to you, things are a little bit differently about that energy and stuff. But right now, he seems to be really good at motivating the players and getting to know them. He actually spends time having dinner with them, and he says it's not always just about football. It's really getting to know the individual because, as you know, everybody's a little bit different. You have to figure out what motivates one player versus another.
Absolutely. I mean, I text Mike. Mike's had a 360 on the guy here. Philly, I got one for you here. I saw him, man.
I saw him like
the 360. You mean 180, don't you?
Sounds like Dallas was looking for one Nick Sirianni.
Oh!
Sounds like they're looking for a Nick Sirianni.
I'm looking for a Howie Roseman.
Woo-hoo! I bet you are.
I'll bet you are. No, that is what you need there. It's more you don't need Nick Sirianni, Mark. You need Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
That's the guy you need. All right, for you, Philly. I heard Emmanuel Acho, I heard him say that there were two questions, and I hated his questions that you had to have if you're going to repeat as Super Bowl champions. What's the two questions you want answered that you think you have to know early on in the season if this team has enough to win a Super Bowl? What are the two issues that, for you want to know and answer quickly if this team gets a shot to get back to Santa Clara?
I think to me it would be the defensive line and the safety position. I think those are the two positions. I'm pretty confident with what we have offensively. I believe I know what to expect from that. But I do think you have questions at the safety position. And then you have a lot of young guys. Now, a lot of young guys that I think are going to be very good. And I think they're going to answer the questions. But I do think that we've got to see them on the field. You don't have Sweat. You don't have Milt Williams. So if that defensive line is playing well, especially to me, the interior of that defensive line, if they're good, that's the key to the whole defense. I think the whole defense will follow. So I think those would be mine.
Mark, for you,
Mm-hmm.
how much are you going to get out of Mark? How much are you going to get out of Miles Sanders? Are you expecting anything out of Miles Sanders?
I'll be real with you. At some points, I'm questioning, is he still on the roster? Because, I hear about Jaden Blue all the time. I hear about Javonte Williams and things. I don't actually hear a lot about Miles Sanders. So I don't know how much we'll get. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure.
You don't think he makes the team? You don't think he makes the team?
I'm not sure that he does. When you're looking at it right now, as the coach put it, he said, with running backs, you really just don't know anything until you put the pads on, which is true. Everybody looks great in shorts and a helmet, at OTAs. You're not going to hear anything bad about anybody in OTAs. So until you really put the pads on, you have to see who the cream of the crop is. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of Miles Sanders, although playing for Carolina last year, they were an ass team with no offense.
Now, they were, but believe me, they got a fourth-ranked O-line. Okay? That O-line was not horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got inconsistency in the quarterback play, so we'll see what he does if he can even make the team in Dallas or Philly. I'll tell you, one thing I do dig about Vic Fangio is that guy is honest. When he's asked the question, you know what? If you're Bob Lang and you're the Eagle guys, this guy's saying shit that I've never heard any other coach on that staff say. And when asked about Nakobe Dean and Jahad Campbell, he doesn't seem very hot. They're going to be in training camp at all, and they're going to be probably ready around the beginning. August is not going to cut it.
He said that Campbell. He said Campbell will be ready for camp.
I didn't hear that. I heard him say.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. That he'd be ready.
He said
for
August.
Camp.
August is.
Well, that's preseason.
That's at the end. He was talking about. Now I heard it different. I didn't think he said that he would be ready for somewhere in training camp. He'd be ready around August. Isn't that the exhibition season?
Yeah. Preseason starts then. I took it as he's going to be ready for camp. That's what I thought he said. But the one thing that was bad news coming out was hearing Nakobe Dean's further away. It makes sense why they took Jahad Campbell even more, right? I mean, because there's legitimate questions. I like Nakobe Dean. I thought he really came on last year. I hope the kid is okay. But that's one of those things. Injuries are the hardest thing to predict and know. You just don't know.
Here's something that I took away. Mark, listen to what they said. I mean, this guy, Vic Fangio, man, I mean, they asked the question about him potentially being an edge rusher. And he goes, no. We're playing him at inside linebacker. And anybody who was under the notion that they drafted that guy to be an edge rusher, Vic put that to bed. He was asked it 3 times. He goes, no, we're going to play him at inside linebacker. They drafted that guy to take the spot of Nakobe Dean. Either that or Zach Bond. There's only 2 spots in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to draft the guy 31, Billy, and call him a rotation player. So, I mean, and he was pressed for the question when he asked, they go, are you going to play him outside? He goes, I don't know. But right now we're playing him and giving him drills on inside. Kind of hard to figure out what he is right now until you see him on the field.
Yeah, I think that, to me, it's a refreshing because so many times I've seen Howie, especially in round 1, where he's tried to go fit a guy into a position of need. I'm a big believer that, especially in round 1, because you just don't know, just go best player available. Take the best talent and figure it out later. And that's what I thought they did with Jahad Campbell. They thought this guy, whether they're right or wrong, Sills, they were trying to get up for a long time. So they obviously thought this guy was good. So I've got to trust that now, and I'm okay with it. I hope Dean is okay, though. And if he is, that'll create an interesting situation. Now, can Jahad Campbell be a pass rusher? Will it be part-time? Will they move him around? Will they try to use him like Cowboys used Micah early on? I don't know, but it's a good problem to have if both come back, if Dean comes back healthy.
I want to do something here. And again, this is not my take. I'm going down here. And Mark, what do you make of PFF?
Pro Football Focus?
Yeah.
It's a tool. Sometimes they're spot on. Sometimes they're just way off. Sometimes I feel like they do things, of course, for reaction. Typically when you got the Cowboys, okay, you can say what you want about Dak Prescott, but there's no way in the world that he is the 17th rated quarterback and that you're going to have Kyler Murray or the Prince down there in Jacksonville or Geno Smith ahead of that guy. 2 years ago, he was an MVP runner-up, okay? Those other guys have never been anywhere close to 35, 36, or 37 TDs in a season. Just happen. So, it's a tool. It's I wouldn't go to the bank with what they say.
Okay. So let me read you what they say about the Cowboys and what they say, and tell me if you think you believe Philly or you believe what and again, this is not me talking here.
Uh-oh.
This is
I haven't seen
football.
Okay.
Dallas
Go ahead,
Cowboys,
give it to me. Give it to me.
Dallas Cowboys, strength, pass rush. Dallas ranked fourth in the NFL in pass rush. Despite Micah Parsons missing 4 football games due to injuries, Parsons is part of a healthy unit.
This is for last year? Or this?
Yeah, this is for 24. For 24.
He did have 53 sacks last year.
And they said it's one of the best part of the football team. They said the biggest weakness is Dallas's performance in the run defense was among the NFL's worst. Only
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Okay. This is, again, Pro Football. They said the linebacker play was not very good. Now they said this. The X factor, Prescott is the prime bounce-back candidate for the NFL after earning a career-low 67.2 PFF passing grade in 8 games last season. That comes on the heels of a career-high 86.9, which graded out to be one of the absolute best. So the X-factor athlete for them is Dak Prescott. I want to read you now before you guys comment, then we'll get both of you. Hang on here. Here's the Eagles. Strength of the team in 24. So much went right for the Eagles during their incredible championship run. Unbelievable. The accomplishment on defense and the run offense was absolutely insane, especially the way the defense played and was elite under.
They're tickling your balls there? They're tickling your balls.
The biggest weakness is passing game. Much of this burden falls on the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who
Mark could have put that Diddy invitation away.
Qualifiers and PFF passing grade, despite an outstanding final 2 games of the year. The biggest drop-off came in the drop-back game where Hurts posted a 64.6 non-play percentage and making him one of the worst passing quarterbacks in the pocket. He was tied for 27th in the NFL. First, X factor is Dak, and Pro Football Focus is saying basically they won the Super Bowl in spite of Hurts' inabilities to be able to throw the ball. Not me. That's not my take. That's kind of where they went. Is Dak Prescott the X factor this year for the Cowboys?
Yes, because name me a team that upgraded the quarterback more than Dak Prescott. The Cowboys. Literally, you're going from Cooper Rush to Dak Prescott. Name a free agent quarterback that's gone to another team that can have a bigger impact than that.
Look at Philly. Seriously.
Say what you will about Dak in the playoffs and stuff. From Cooper Rush to Dak Prescott, you've got the Steelers hoping that they can get old-ass Aaron Rodgers, right? Did they upgrade their quarterback?
No.
Do you look at Seattle saying that they went from Geno to Sam Darnold, that's a bigger upgrade?
So this is the biggest upgrade in your eyes. The NFL at quarterback is in Dallas because they're getting Dak back.
If he's healthy and can play the whole season, yes.
PFF says he's an X-factor athlete. Now, Philly, what do you make of PFF and that assessment of Jalen Hurts? And that's the inability to be able to
his inability to go out and make the throws when he has to, the inability to beat the Ravens, to beat the Steelers, to beat the Chiefs, to beat the Rams. His inability. I mean, come on, it's played out. It's played out. It's so ridiculous. The guy went out and won an MVP.
You think he played? You think he played great last year?
I think he played good. Yeah, I think he played well enough. And I think he played really good in the playoffs. That's where I really like what he did. I thought he was
Packer really game. You thought he played well?
I thought he played good in the Packers game. And then in the Rams game was
90 yards net passing.
I don't remember what he had net passing, but I know he came out and we went right down. He struck first. Jahan Dotson, touchdown, bing, bang, boom. It's already over. You know what I'm saying? Then you go, the Rams game, snow. He was banged up in that game too. That's a hard game to judge, the passing game. Washington, they just destroyed them. That game was over on the first play of the game, the first Eagles offensive play. But the Super Bowl, he was good. He was good.
Oh,
and if you take that, and then you take the fact that he played in the Super Bowl earlier, and he played good in that game, now I feel like you have a historical reference of him playing good in big games. That's what I want for my quarterback. It's so overblown what they're saying. Jalen Hurts is actually underrated, and it's ridiculous.
We got a couple more minutes here, so I'll ask you, what did you make of the comment of Dak Prescott being the X factor and what Mark just said? And I'll ask vice versa, you and your take on what PFF wrote about Jalen Hurts, Mark, here in a second. What did you – is Dak Prescott the X factor in the NFL this year for the Cowboys?
I mean, look, yeah, he's better than Cooper Rush. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say, yeah, you get your quarterback back. It's going to make a big difference for your team. Let's just not change history from last year. He stunk. He stunk during the year.
Okay.
He wasn't good. Was Dallas? No, let me talk.
No. You know what?
Shut your face.
Tired of your bullshit. No. You don't get to, you cherry pick. There was nobody who played good.
You're interrupting the man. You're interrupting the champ, and I got to ring.
Screw you, champ. Screw you. Screw you.
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. King of the Hill.
Listen, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not saying anything wrong. Was Dak great during the regular season? They weren't that good. So all I'm saying
didn't have your number two receiver.
He's a
couldn't run the football.
How many interceptions?
Couldn't even force a freaking punt. And the only thing you say is Dak Prescott.
I mean, you're making excuse. You can't even accept anything about this guy.
Okay,
Mark,
so
does he do anything wrong?
So when Jalen Hurts went against Tampa Bay and lost twice, and he scored how many points?
Does he shit spell, Mark?
Oh, man.
I mean, come on. Does a guy do anything wrong? Every single thing that you talk about, you always – can you just say, yeah, Dak wasn't great? He wasn't great.
You don't recognize
Are there reasons for it? Yes, there are reasons for it. But he wasn't great.
Why do I bother? Why do I bother?
Now I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you this here, Mark. What is your assessment on what PFF said about Jalen Hurts, that much of the burden falls on the quarterback? Again, this isn't my take. I didn't write this here. On quarterback Jalen Hurts in the step back of the passing game, it being one of the biggest weaknesses of the team. They said the biggest strength was the defense in 24. The biggest weakness was the quarterback in the passing game. Ranked them 23rd and 27th. What's your takeaway when you hear – like you said, you don't
unlike Philly 500, I'm going to say that Jalen Hurts is not a bad quarterback. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You constantly track my quarterback. Stop lying. Stop freaking lying. You talk about him mercilessly, okay, all the time.
No. I hold you accountable.
Listen, we listen to the champ. Let's listen to the chump now, okay? The chump is talking, okay? All right. They are fortunate because the Eagles recognize putting everything on one person's hands is not a win scenario. The best thing they did is being balanced. So that way, he has confidence. When he is needed to play a game, he's not beat down and everything else. And because they have a great running game, it helps the passing game. You cannot say that he is not having an advantage having Saquon rushing for 2,000 yards when we got Rico, a guy you literally laugh about. Rico, who? Who got barely 1,000 yards. Okay? He's a good quarterback. I'm not going to say that he's not. But to say that you got a great passing attack, you don't have to have one because of the way your team's assembled.
All right.
Now, take that.
But here's the thing. He just answered his own question. Is Dak the X factor? Well, if Dak, and we're talking about having to have a run game to be that X factor, then he's not, because they don't have a run game. They didn't have a run game last year.
No,
I'm not saying
you have more.
I'm not saying there are not reasons for Dak Prescott to not be good or have struggles. But you can't ignore his struggles. You don't have a run game now. So what's Dak?
You know, like in the military, you have bombers that are slow, that drop bombs. Then you have fighters that take care of the other guys. You have different types of weapons and different ways to win a battle. You have a quarterback and wide receivers, and you have a running game. If the only weapon we have is Dak Prescott throwing the football, then it's got to work 100% of the time. And that's an impossibility. You're going to have games when they shut down the one receiving option we had, which was CeeDee Lamb. We had chopped liver for our number 2, number 3 receivers. We didn't have a freaking running game. That was your X factor. Dak to CD. That's it. There's nothing else to rely on. If that doesn't work, you're screwed, which is what we were last year.
That's not an X factor. I don't consider that X factor. That's something that you have to
You don't consider anything with the Cowboys.
An X factor is something.
You've got this lose Cowboys.
Listen to this guy. He sits there and he complains that last year Dak struggles because they don't have a run game, right? So then I say, well, I don't think you have a run game this year. So then he gets offended about that. I can't help it.
I will say I think we have a better run game this year, but I will say that we actually have a major improvement as our number 2, or should I say 1-1 wide receiver. Because what's going to happen okay, now I'm going to say there's less excuses for Dak because now you have guys that can get separation. The Cowboys, one of the worst teams in separation. And if your guys can't get open and you can't run the football, it's a recipe for disaster. I don't care who it is your quarterback.
Because Philly's got a role here, Mark, and I'm going to ask one question here.
I got 5 more, man. I got 5.
Okay, wait. I got a question for you. Well, then let me ask Mark that first, and then I'll get you, Philly. What do you think is the best new duo in the NFL with acquisitions? Do you think it's Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford, or do you think it's Dak Prescott and George Pickens? I'm talking to you, Mark.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm going to say Dak and George Pickens. Dak has never had 2 wide receivers at this point in their career. Okay, he had Amari Cooper and he had CeeDee Lamb when he first got in here. But right now, you look at George Pickens. George Pickens is a guy who can get deep and get separation. And the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. That alone will help our running game because you have to worry about covering both of those guys. If one of those guys gets loose, it's 6 points. And so defensive coordinators, unlike when it's Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks and the guy out of, from Walmart parking lot, you're saying, who cares if they catch them? They're not going to the house. These guys can, which changes how defensive coordinators have to play.
Philly, I got one last question for you. Do you believe you have enough? Or answer it this way. Do you believe the league has caught you guys because of all the moves that you've made? Pick one or the other. Do you think you have enough to get back to Santa Clara and to being a Super Bowl repeat champions? Or again, has the league caught you, not past you, but have they gotten closer to you because of all the question marks that you've created this offseason? Which side are you on?
I don't think teams have caught up to us. I think that maybe you can argue that some have closed the gap because of what we lost. But I don't feel like there's one team, especially coming out of the NFC, that I look and say, man, they really, really worried about them. So no, I don't think anybody caught us. But if you want to say that they closed the gap because we lost Josh Sweat and Milt Williams, I'll say at this point right now, I think that's fair. But I don't think anybody has caught us. I still think we're the best team in the league.
Finally, for you, Mark, do you think you've closed the gap on the Eagles?
Considering it was the Grand Canyon, yeah, they've gotten a little closer. Is it close?
Now, what's that look like? Does that mean competitive in games? Because last year you weren't. Now, obviously, the quarterback wasn't there, and that was an issue last year. But it's like,
they'll be competitive.
Do you think you're closing the gap where you're competitive and winning and giving yourself a shot to beat them?
It's the NFC East. It's the division rivals. The Cowboys know the Eagles, and in division games, anything goes. It wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles went 2-0 against the Cowboys. Wouldn't surprise me if the Cowboys split with the Eagles.
Not 2-0 against Philly?
It wouldn't surprise me there, although I think the chances are that they end up splitting.
What about you, Philly? You split with them or you 2-0 on them?
We're sweeping their ass.
Sweeping their ass.
There it is. So this is what he's giving you, Mark. He's giving you a proclamation for September 4th, and he just said you're sweeping your ass.
I got a blue broom downstairs, all ready to go.
Guys, you guys are absolutely awesome, man. I can't thank you.
Oh, Mark, I love you, boy. Don't be upset. I'll give you a hug, buddy.
Mark, I got to tell you, man, you know what you did, Mark? You got Howard Eskin and Angelo Cataldi because they watch this stuff.
Oh, they watch us. Eagle Royalty watches this.
Angelo's a man. I like Angelo.
Okay.
Man.
Hey, and they said we want to be like that guy.
I used to listen to him 5 o'clock in the morning delivering papers.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark. He did make $2.5 million a year for about 15 years. Do you want to be him now?
Can I hold something? Can I hold something?
Hey, Mark, I'll take the 0.5.
I'm serious.
Guys, thank you
so much. Take half of that, bro.
Thank you for finding time, everybody. Make sure you check both their great shows out.
Thank you for working this schedule for me.
You bet all the time, man. You guys are sensational to me. You too. Hey, Mark, thank you, bro. Don't put a puss on, man.
Thank you, Mark.
Get me and Michael Irvin together, man.
Thank you for coming here, Mark, and having to deal with real questions. Thank you, Mark.
And you know what? I answer them, bro. I'm right here. I'm right here.
I know your answers are delusional as all hell, but you try.
Oh my God. I'll see you guys. Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate you guys. Look at Mark with that puss on the way out the door. It's all right, Mark. Taking a Bobby Boucher is why Dak didn't play well last year. Was Bobby Boucher? It's just the water, and they get the water. You know, we have the water, and Dak didn't have the water, and that's why he threw 15 interceptions last year. Mark's drinking the Bobby Boucher water from the Great Glacier of Alaska. They're getting the water from. There you go. Bobby Boucher saying that Dak, he got married, he got a new kid coming on the way. Everybody, we're going to do everything we got to do for that. Yeah. That's great. All right, bottom of the hour. We're going to get Xander on here too, man. You guys are great. I appreciate it. Don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. John Morgan was on yesterday, man. Absolutely sensational, and we appreciate him so much with over $30 billion in recovery, man. Oh, and by the way, real quick here, Clancy Boland is working on flying big cells into Philadelphia or potentially the opener. By the way, I saw a bunch of super chats. Xander and I are going to get to all of those. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. I know you guys threw a bunch of super chats at us. So if you want us to keep throwing them out there, we'll do it. We'll get to them all. Okay? Dan Sileo. What's Hurts's record versus quarterbacks who make over $50 million a year? Good take. Good take. You mean what's the team's record? Hurts's record? Wait a minute. That's a Hurts record? Okay. Oh, all right. I thought that was a team record, but that's all right. Hey, I got you. But John, hey, September 4th, We're talking about having a big soiree at the Morgan & Morgan offices for the opening week of Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. I may have to actually get off my ass and fly into Philly for that week. And we'll have it in the offices there downtown in Philly. We'll have food. I don't know if we'll have drinks with some of you people in here. I'm not sure. Is JAKIB invited? I am JAKIB with Xander. What are you kidding? Who do you think I'm talking to? 97.5 when nobody listens to? You hire anybody? Come on now. Of course. So we may be doing that with Morgan & Morgan here. So we're looking forward to that. John was on yesterday with us too, and he threw a proclamation out to Clancy, who watches the show. I got a great text from him yesterday, and he'd sent me a text going, John's killing it. So, and absolutely, one of the reasons why Morgan & Morgan is the number one injury law firm in the country is because these guys win, like Clancy, like John, like Rex, he said, Rex Culpepper, who's now part of the firm. From coast to coast, whether it's Philadelphia or Los Angeles, down in Tampa, Orlando, the number one injury law firm in the country, protects people and making sure that insurance companies do not take advantage of you guys by getting the proper settlements. Over $30 billion they got for that family in Philadelphia here, and they initially offered $650,000. Folks, if you're ever injured, please do me a favor. Check out forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Boy, this PFF stuff gets better and better. Big Sills here. Please hit the like button. So they just came out with the new rankings of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. This is what they came. Sauce Gardner, number 1, New York Jets. Patrick Surtain, number 2, Denver Broncos. A guy that I wanted the Eagles to draft, and every single person in here hated it. Trent McDuffie. Remember I told you? Take him. He's the best player for the Eagles at that respected pick. No, he's too short. He's this and that. He's rated the 3rd best cornerback in pro football. You'd have McDuffie and Q now playing corner. You listen to Big Sills. If you took him, you'd have him and Q playing cornerback for you, and you would be able to keep Cooper DeJean in the slot. Hey, by the way, these ain't me. Number 4 is Jalen Johnson, Chicago. Number 5 is Stingley from Houston. Number 6, another Jet, DJ Reed, New York Jets, and you got the number 1 guy. You got the number 1 and number 6 guy, according to Pro Football Focus. Number 7, Marlon Humphrey, Baltimore. Number 8, Christian Bedford, Buffalo. Number 9, you got Yair Alexander, Green Bay. And number 10, you've got Denzel Ward, Cleveland. They got Cooper at 11. Wait a minute here. They got Cooper DeJean rated better than Quinyon Mitchell? Huh. Big Sills telling you the guy's a better ball player than Q. He's a better football player than Quinyon Mitchell, and Q's good. I'm not saying he's not. They think more. Hey, ask yourself this. Who do you think the Eagles think more of? Q, or do you think they more of Cooper? Who do you think Fangio thinks more of? Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean? It's not what I asked you. Who do you think Vic thinks more of? I'll tell you what they will pay him is if you're able to do this. Let me play him at safety. Let me play him nickel, and let me play him some reps at corner. They will pay that guy $30 million because he's not just a one-encompassing position. Remember, this is what I've been telling you now for the last 2.5 months. They don't profile players the same. Their definition of players has completely changed. By the way, I'll read these now. Some of the ones we missed, I promise we'll get them down there with Xander at the bottom of the hour. Cooper's versatile. Q is a zone corner. Cooper's better. I agree. I completely agree. But you guys don't look. I'm going to tell you one more time. Patriot fans are going to be so pissed off when they don't get 10 sacks and 65 tackles from Milton Williams. And I'm going to turn around and tell Patriot fans this. He was never going to do that in Philly. But in that Philadelphia system with Vic, I'll tell you this. Milton Williams would be great in a Bill Belichick defense. He'd be great in a Belichick defense. Why? Because they were chameleons every week. Sometimes they would play 34, be a forefront. They'd be wide 9. They'd be a 5. They were all over the place. Okay? That don't make you a better ball player. That has nothing to do with it. That does not make you a better ball player. This guy throws the stupidest thing out. Great, he's got speed. Welcome to the NFL. You play corner. I don't know. Okay? Well, so what? Dude, don't talk to me about track and field stuff or weight room shit. Talk to me about football stuff. Anytime somebody puts up a 40-yard dash, laugh at him. Justin Fields runs a 4.5, 4.4. Who gives a shit? Tom Brady runs a 5.4. Does anybody care? And get this, speed and talent. Really, speed and talent? We'll see. I know a lot of guys who run 4.4s and 4.5s. They don't get drafted either. This is not a track and field competition. This is a football competition. Okay? I mean, Cooper DeJean's a better ball player. Plain and simple. Hey, you want to know what an athlete is? And you want to know what looks great? I've been telling you since a year ago, actually 2 years now. Travis Hunter is going to be a superstar in this league. Why? Because first and foremost, he's a great player. And he can do more. But he's a better athlete than Cooper DeJean. And that's saying a lot. And I think Cooper's a sensational athlete. That kid, Travis Hunter, the people are dropping their jaw in Jacksonville. Watching him do the shit he's doing on the field. They can't believe what they're seeing. What does speed have to do with playing zone? Mikey, a great take. When Q was matched up with Terry man on man, he got cooked. Dude, how about this? Adam Thielen, when he got matched up against Cooper DeJean, he got worked. You're trying to tell me you don't think Cooper's a better player, better athlete? But what was Thielen? He's a sensational route runner. He knows how to get open. He schooled that kid that day. It's okay. He's a young ball player. That's going to happen. That kid got worked that day. That was his worst game of the year of the season, was that Carolina game. That guy can play. Is he one of the elite wide receivers in the games? No. It's not the point. It's experience. It's knowing what you're seeing, knowing how to react. That's right, Chris. Cooper DeJean after that game even went, wow, that guy knows what he's doing. Do you know how much you take from something like that? Like, let me give you again. I played a guy by the name of Ray Donaldson. I had never, and I agree with you. I don't ever remember Q getting cooked by Terry McLaurin. I thought McLaurin had a catch the first time they played. I thought he had a catch for the first time in the fourth quarter. I don't remember that being that way. I told you Shields about Hunter. Same about Munden. Kimberly, I've been saying that he would have been the first player taken in the draft the last 3 years. I personally think he's a better pick at the Jags at number 2 than what Cam Ward is at number 1 to Tennessee. He's the best player in the draft. So I played against Ray Donaldson. This guy's 6'6", 365 pounds. And man, could he move. And he was a 500-pound bencher like me. And I'll tell you what, I've never been taken to school in my entire, let's see, how many years did I play? I played 4 years of little football. I played 4 years of high school football. That's 9. I was in college 5. I was in college 4 years. That's 13. And I played 7 years of pro ball. That's 20 years of football. I had never seen anything in my entire life like what that guy did to me. And it wasn't even physical. It was just head fakes. Boom, going that way. Boom, I'm reaching and falling. I had never seen anything like it. Next time I played him, I had 11 tackles on him. Came up to me, goes, you got the head fake down, didn't you? Kudos to you. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I had to get off the ball. And when I started talking like this, I go, I had to get off the ball and shade you a little bit. When it came to strong side, wide side of the field or the shorter side of the field, I had to move around a little bit That's what a guy does, and that's what you do through experience. Adam Thielen will never do that again to Cooper DeJean because he's going to put that in his memory bank, and he's going to remember that. Okay? He's going to remember that. And, you know, that's how you gain experience. That's got nothing to do with 40-yard dashes. It's got everything to do with reps. Remember what Vic said yesterday? What did Vic say about reps? About Keely Ringo? Keely Ringo, according to Vic, you know what Keely Ringo is to Vic? He's an unknown. I don't know. We've got to see what he is. We got to find the reps. That's why I thought Vic was ripping the Philly media. I don't know if Xander thought that, but I thought he was ripping the Philly media when somebody brought up, hey, you're going to play what's his name? Jahad Campbell at edge. He's like, no, we're going to put him inside. And then he got pressed on it about talking about putting him at the edge. And he's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's first going to take inside linebacker reps. That's where he is, and that's where he's going to stay right now. He was pressed on that. I heard John say, that's the best where you can get him on the field. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't want to just put him out on the field and have him try to set the edge on me and not understand the technique. Setting the edge is why Bryce Huff is no longer an Eagle. You understand that, right? How many times did Xander and I talk about it last year with the guy was a liability at the edge? Wasn't that he was a liability so much in pass rush, he couldn't play the run. And he was getting washed down into the defensive lineman. Do you know why he got knocked off the field? This is why I completely disagree when people think he's going to go to San Francisco and be successful. Why don't I put on the tape? He was getting better? Where? He was getting thrown into Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. And those guys were getting slammed because he was getting picked up and thrown on the run game into them. And it was creating a lane. All you got to do is put the tape on. He was getting run over in the run game. That guy was not getting better. I don't see anywhere where he did. Yeah, 3rd and 10. Guy hits the quarterback. Great. What about 1st and 2nd down? I thought that guy was a trash can last year. Q held Terry to 1 catch on Thursday night. I'm with you, Umberto. I don't remember Terry McLaurin torching Quinyon Mitchell. I don't remember that. Yeah, because he didn't understand the technique. He couldn't stay on his feet. He was getting knocked off the ball, and he was getting washed down into pursuit. And what do I mean by that? Okay, you got your defensive ends out here. It is a number 1 priority to keep your outside shoulder free. Why? Because if they get a slip or a hook on you, and those tackles get up into the 2nd level, they create a running lane. That's what the Eagle O-line is great at, 2nd level blocking. That's what separates the Philadelphia Eagles from every other offensive line in pro football. They get to the 2nd and at times the 3rd level. They don't just block you at the point of attack. And you got receivers that are willing to put their nose in it. I mean, dude, that guy couldn't do that. How am I going to put Bryce Huff on a field if he's getting destroyed in the run game? That guy's going to have 6 sacks. Let me put it to you this way. Xander asked me, says you're going to take over under on Bryce Huff with 6 sacks. All right, well, let me ask you the question. How many people think the 49ers, what's the record going to be for the 49ers this year? Niner all day. What do you think the record for the 49ers will be this year? How many? What would be? There's Jack, 9-8. What do you think? 49ers playing a really good competitive division, the NFC West. You've got Seattle. I don't know what Seattle's going to look like with Sam Darnold there. You've got the Rams. Twitch says 8 to 10 wins. That looks right. Twiz, 8 to 10 wins. Abe's a 7-9. If Bryce Huff is on a 7-9 football team, well, actually, that would be 7-10. Lamar says 6. Here, let's go with Lamar. If the 49ers have 6 wins this year, Bryce Huff might have 8 sacks. But they'll be meaningless. It'll be meaningless because they'll be behind. It'll be garbage sacks. Like Bryce Huff had garbage sacks with a shitty Jets team. I mean, Nolan Smith had impact sacks. 10 sacks with the Jets when he played on the team meant nothing. They were like Kirk Cousins statistics. Over under depends on how good you are. If you're a shitty football team, you're going to constantly be in 3rd and long. Are you not? Teams are going to throw the shit at you. They're going to throw the ball on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down on you. You're going to fall in the sacks. 8 and 9. The guy probably gets 10 sacks if the team's 8 and 9. He's going to fall in the numbers. But will the team be good? Will he benefit the team's success? Absolutely not. Look at the Eagles last year. What was their top edge rusher? Was Nolan, right? There were no 16 sacks, 15, 14 sacks. There were like 8, 6 with Josh and them guys. It beat the shit out of you up front. I heard he's healthy and ready to rock. I heard he's 100% healthy. Now, again, it's June 4th. He wasn't healthy like this last year. McCaffrey's a great ball player. He's had a great career. What does he have left? We'll see. What does Trent Williams have left? Okay, I mean, that kid Travis Hunter down in Jacksonville is a special ball player. That kid's I've been telling you that. Let's see here. I've been telling you that now for 3 years. He is a good-looking football player. He's the best player I've seen come out of college in a long time that plays secondary. I love the kid. I think the kid's great, and I think he's got a great story. I saw something yesterday. Seals, you see Gardner Johnson cry again? Vic's comments hurt, buddy. Woo! No, I did not. Pump, give me an insight. What'd he say? Yeah, because Vic just brushed it off. I thought I mentioned it yesterday. Holy shit. Yeah, that's all right. I don't care. That was a salary cap thing, and I'm all right with that. Hey, that's why that guy, I don't believe the Eagles like that guy talking like that. Because that's not how you know why he's not a head football coach? Not because the team stunk. He's not a head football coach because he can't lie. It's on his IG. That's fabulous. So when asked the question about Gardner Johnson yesterday, Vic Fangio was like, yeah, I don't know. He just blew that thing off like, yeah, he's replaceable. We're good. He didn't want to put up with the bullshit anymore. Remember when some of you were giving me shit and said it was fake news, that he had a problem? I was told that he was going back and forth with the DB coach in meetings all the time. And the DB coach had to be, at times, restrained in how he went at him with him because the guy was always talking shit. You know how many times defensive back coach had to tell C.J. Gardner-Johnson to shut the fuck up last year? Every week. They had to tell him to shut the fuck up. And when I reported that, Vic didn't want to put up with that shit anymore. He's a good player. You just didn't want to put up with the drama. Yeah. Christian Parker and him did not like one another. But you play him because why? He's a really good football player. I mean, he is. But it comes to a point of putting up with way too much of your bullshit. Then the stuff at the parade, and Gardner Johnson this year would have been so unprofessional in how he approached the offseason. The Eagles didn't want to take any chances with a loose cannon. That's what they called him. They called that guy a loose cannon in the locker room. They didn't want to put up with it anymore. They didn't want to put up with it. I know that for a fact. I put that on my Twitter page. Oh, yeah, Sileo's bullshit. And you saw Vic's reaction. Vic, what do you make of, what was the Gardner Johnson thing? That was just a throw-in lob question at the end. And Vic goes like this. Yeah, I don't care. Hey, you imagine this. You're Gardner Johnson. You went to 2 Super Bowls, and here's the D coordinator doing this shit. Watch this. Yeah, I don't care. Hey, man, if I saw that and I was a player, I would have went like this. Holy fuck. You got to be kidding. And so Gardner Johnson gets butthurt. Hey, and by the way, Gardner Johnson getting butthurt, the Eagles didn't want to put up with that shit. They did not want the drama. That guy would have been intolerable this year. You imagine Gardner Johnson with a ring rolling around Philly? He's throwing fuck you comments at everybody. Eagles don't want to put up with that shit. And by the way, I'm sorry, man. I know Philly 500. I love him to death. But that's not what I heard about Nakobe. I didn't hear he was ready for camp. That's not what I heard. All right. Guys are killing it on Birds 365. John's killing it, man. Oh, by the way, before I bring Xander up here, hey, Big Z, you know when we're going to have the battle royale between me and John? September 5th. Xander's going to put up posters. It's going to be like Rocky versus Apollo Creed. Okay? Post-game show, baby. John can't escape me. Yeah. All right. With all that, man. By the way, next week, June 13th, at Denver in training camp, July 27th. All that being said, make sure you check out Bird 365. Let's talk to our friend, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Yep. September 5th, Junior.
That's going to be a good one, Big Sills.
He can't get away then. All supers will be red, I promise. And also, please hit the like button.
Yeah, he's not getting away. Mark Holmes isn't going to get away. None of them are going to get away. Eagles are going to start the season belt the ass on the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, I'm just reading into this CJ Gardner Johnson thing. I mean, I want to say this as respectfully as I can. This dude is so emotional. I mean, dude, you won a Super Bowl. Move on. I mean, if I'm in Houston, if you're a Houston fan right now, what are you thinking about this dude who cannot just get over what happened in Philly? I mean, whatever the case might be, dude, they almost did it to Dallas Goedert. They did it to Milton Williams. They did it to Josh Sweat. It's business. And you're proving why you're on your 5th team in 5 years. You're proving. The dude is so emotional. I mean, great player, great playmaker, but good God, what a headache he is.
So I'm reading this now. Help me add some more context to this. Gardner Johnson responded to Fangio that he was traded for salary cap reasons. He was a test dummy and it did not have no issues with.
What does that mean? A test dummy?
I'm not understanding what this is. I was a test dummy for them. So now they can be like, my scheme works, or did my skill set make it work? I had zero issues. People had issues with me. So they let the salary cap be the excuse. I'm not understanding where he's going with this.
I think he's trying to say you throw him out of the room and say it's a cap casualty, and then they sit and say the scheme is the reason the defense was good, not the player. And he's saying the player is the reason the scheme worked. And I think he's just, again, good player, but dude, Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, the edge rushers that played last year, Quinyon and Cooper DeJean.
A whole unit.
Dude, come on, man. You were on a great defense. All right. You were on a great. No, Master Eagle says he's telling the truth. That's bullshit, man. That's emotional BS. Was he a good player? Yes. Was there probably some nefarious reasons for him to get moved on from the Eagles outside of salary cap? Yeah, probably. The dude's a headache. He's a headache, Master Eagle. He's a headache. Nobody wants to deal with him.
But at the end of the day, too, so they moved off of Milton. Do you think they wanted to? Fuck no. Do you think they wanted to get rid of Josh? No way did they want to do that. Bro, they made difficult decisions, and Vic being flippant is probably what's aggravated him more, right? Because, hey, I won't lie. I even noticed that. I went like this. Vic just went, yeah, that's all right. It was a salary cap thing.
It's like that story, though, of Jimmy Johnson, and it's like where he tells the running back in the room or something. And he's like, yeah, dude, you ain't Emmett. Like, you're not that good. All right. Like you're good, but you're not that good. All right. Your headache is too big for what you brought to the table. And it's proven by the Eagles. They had him. I mean, here's the funniest part about this deal where he's probably right, where they did move on from him. He was under contract for a pretty good price.
Oh, yeah. 11.2
at a position that you kind of right now has question marks. And they got him out of the building for Kenyon Green, one of the worst first-round draft picks in the last 5 years. So, again, don't take my word for it. The Eagles clearly had enough of the player, and they think they can move on without him. Now, you can get mad at me for that all you want. The guy's a headache. He really is. I get a headache right now just reading his post. Dude, shut up. Shut up. You were not the reason the scheme worked last year. You were a great part of it. Stop trying to make it more than it is, man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, now you see, like you said, all those teams, he's got a little bit of Hassan Reddick to him here, right?
Worse, Hassan didn't do this stuff. Hassan put on the
but he was also on 4 teams in 5 teams in 6 years.
Well, yeah, maybe you can make a case on that too as well. But he at least wasn't as outward about it. I mean, he maybe was doing a similar thing, but it wasn't so outward. I mean, every time somebody mentions CJ Gardner-Johnson's name, he's got to make an Instagram post or make a story. And I'm like,
man,
listen. Again, you can say you're judging another guy. Everybody's got different expectations in life. All right. And when you're a $10 million athlete and a football player, you're expected to rise above some of that. Maybe you respond here and there, but good God, got a headache thinking about this dude.
Xander, I want to ask you one more time about the Jordan Davis thing. And I did talk to Clint about it. And you tell me again. I mean, do you think that guy's committed to the game?
I do. But I don't think he's one of the guys that eats, sleeps, and breathes football. I think he's gifted. I think he is maybe still growing as a young man. I mean,
mentally, too.
23, 24 years old. I mean, you know what I mean? I was 24 3 years ago. I'm still 27. I still feel like I'm learning every single day. So I don't want to put a limit on the guy, but I do think he doesn't have that inherent drive for the game of football. That's not to say he might not have that in another avenue, but I don't know if immature is the word I'm awake because I don't really see him as an immature guy. Now, maybe you could say it's immature to not work your ass off, in this game, but
to be prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I called him lazy this morning, or I speculated.
Lazy shit.
Lazy shit. Yeah, somebody commented mad at me about that. I'm like, God, get over it. But no, I don't want to say that, but I don't think he has that drive that, like Jalen Hurts. I say what you want about him, but like I feel like that dude could go over 17 or go 17-0, and that dude's going to be back in the gym the next day. He could be done playing the sport and be outcast from the league. He's going to be in the gym. Like I feel like that's who he is. I don't know if that's Jordan Davis. But that's okay. I mean, not every great player was that, by the way. has that motivation. Some people just have talent. I think Jordan Davis does have immense talent. And if he really put his mind to it, he'd probably be a tremendous player. I don't know.
He might have more talent. He might have more upside than Jalen Carter. That's my. You are.
I don't know about that.
Well, wait a minute. You're 6'6", 358 pounds, and you run 4.78. Huss, you need to be better. You were taking 5 picks later than him. They were looking at you almost in the same light as that when they saw your skill set at the combines. He has been an underachiever since his time at Georgia, dude. He's just not fulfilled his abilities. And to me, I think it's got to let. And why I'm hard on it now is because, son, don't let it go, man. You're too good for this. You're too good.
I hear you from that
perspective. You're just too good. Xander, I think he's such a good-looking player that if he applied himself, and I think that's what Vic was hinting at.
Yeah, you might be right about that. I mean, and it's hard to look. This is everybody talks about athletes, and my dad, when I was a kid, used to always tell me athletes are people, who play games for a living. The people are important. The games are not. Now, most fans wouldn't like to hear that phrase, but the reality is that they are humans, and there's different elements to each one of these humans. And I don't know if I think Jordan Davis has a lot of passion and vigor for life. You hear him when he sings and he's jokester and he gets along with everybody. And I don't necessarily think that this is an indictment on him as a human, but no. I think you might be right about him as a football player where it just doesn't drive him. It doesn't get him motivated. Now, again, I'm speculating. I don't know. He might be working his ass off and he's fighting an uphill battle genetically to get slimmer than we think. Maybe that's the case as well. But I think the first 7-week comment maybe push back on that narrative a little bit. I don't know. It's a tough one to gauge. We'll see how he develops. I do think he's immensely talented. I think he's a really good locker room dude too. But I do wonder why he's not reaching that level a little bit quicker. Maybe we'll talk about him like we talked about Brandon Graham. I don't know.
I got to tell you something here, man. I listened to Nolan Smith yesterday, and man, do I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome.
He just gives energy, and I mean, every word out of his mouth was about motivating and like leadership and all that shit. They talk about young leaders on your team. Boy, that guy looks like he fits the mold. I mean, I'm sitting there listening to him, and he's captivating. Certain guys, Xander, you walk into a room and a guy grabs the room.
Absolutely.
Certain guys hide in the room. I mean, and plus, if you can get the kind of play you did at the tail end of the season when he started getting more reps, man, he made me a bigger fan of him yesterday. Really, I was impressed. I'm impressed with him when he talks. He feels like a leader.
The question on Nolan Smith has always been, not that. It's more been about how's the body going to hold up with the way he plays. He actually does everything on the edge impressively well for his size in terms of playing the run, setting the edge. You heard his comment about, I have to earn the right to rush the passer, and I do that by stopping the run. So he has the right mentality, the way he approaches the game clearly. So, look, if that dude's body holds up, he's going to be an unbelievable football player in this city for a long time. Now, it is a big if because he's undersized. He plays very physical. He dominates at the point of attack, but sometimes that tugs on your body a little bit more. He certainly has all the intangibles, Sills. He's got all the intangibles. This is a team filled with a lot of those players, actually, that have those intangibles. I think Nakobe Dean falls in that category as well. Undersized, keeps getting hurt, everything, but the guy just keeps fighting, keeps battling, keeps working his butt off to try and get on the field. Will his body hold up? I think it might, but I do agree with you, man. He certainly has the right mentality to be a great football player.
Do you agree with what I said in the first hour? I said the difference between your coaching staff in 23 and 2024, it's significant and for the record, having listened to Vic and hearing Vic talk like me, and he addresses the issues that you have and that I see, I feel better today on June 4th than I did on June 2nd about what you have to do to try to find and try to put the pieces on the chessboard right. And what I love here's the difference. In 23, you didn't have problem solvers. Now on your coaching staff, you have problem solvers. They're looking at like this. Okay, corner, safety, linebacker, because I don't think he feels comfortable with Jeremiah Trotter and Zach Bond starting the season against the Cowboys. I'm sorry. There's no way they feel comfortable with that. That's going to be a test, and that's going to be a battle because the kid from Georgia may end up beating Trotter out. He's going to get the first snaps, but boy, Trotter, not a lot of reps. Bond is going to be next to him. I didn't get the impression Dean was going to be ready for the start of the season.
So where Philly 500 is getting that is there's a line of thinking where, and I think it's actually a couple Eagles YouTubers, Josh Davis and Thomas Mott were down at the NovaCare complex and they talked to Nolan because they're friends with them. They get signed helmets and all sorts of stuff to give away. Shout out to those guys. Great. They do a great job on YouTube. But I think Nakobe told them, I'm feeling good. Now, I don't think he told them a timeline or anything like that, but they said that. And a lot of people based on, and you couple that with the reports back at the Super Bowl and cleanout day, you remember when even John McMullen was like, Nakobe Dean was out of his boot. Like he was walking around. He did no brace on or anything, at cleanout day. That was a couple weeks after, 3-4 weeks after, he got injured. So I do think he's been ahead of the curve, but you kind of heard Vic Fangio bring some reality back to that conversation of, this isn't a complex injury. It's not going to be smooth sailing all the way through. So I'm kind of with you. I think he's going to be out for the first couple of weeks at least, but we'll see. We'll see.
How do you feel about Trotter and Dak being your starting inside linebackers?
Big question on Trotter, man. I mean, I think he has my favorite thing about Trotter is he's an instinctive player. He doesn't rely on his athleticism a whole lot. He's not the most athletic dude in the room, but he's very instinctive. And that bodes well for that position. I think that allows you. I mean, you think back to guys like TJ Edwards, you think back to guys, that have thrived at that position with not subpar, but not that supreme athleticism. I do think he has that. So I'm optimistic on him, but it's a wait and see for sure. 5th round pick, Hills. I mean, you know what I mean? You got to wait and see.
No, I get it here. And there's a reason. I think it's because he's short. He's like 5'11", 6 feet. That's the only reason. Because that guy, if you turn on his Georgia tape, that guy can ball.
Oh, yeah.
He is a really good-looking football player. I heard you say something today, and it made me think about it. Is Jalen Hunt already a good pick? Now, he's a 3rd rounder, so that's a premium pick. But, boy, I thought this was years away from being anything. I thought it was such like a project, like maybe 27, he would be good. I'm starting to see the guy with smoke signals every game. Oh, there's a Hunt sighting. How many games did I tune on with Bryce Huff? There was no Bryce Huff sighting. I watched this kid all of a sudden every week, and more reps he got, that guy became more of a player and he became more of a factor. And don't you think his evolution had more to do with Bryce Huff getting knocked off the team than Nolan Smith? Because Vic likes that guy. Vic talks highly of that guy, Jalen Hunt. And to me, I think the reason, because like you and John both said, and rightfully so, you think you're better right now, not having another body? I'm not saying that guy's great, but you don't have a lot of bodies out there.
Right.
And the bodies you have are guys that were everybody else's, getting rid of these guys. So, I mean, is this pick looking like this year, Xander, if this guy puts up 5 sacks this year and you see him in a rotation and playing, wouldn't that be considered a great pick?
Yeah, that'd be considered great. But yeah, he would have to continue to rise from that, I would think. I mean, 3rd rounder is not a 4th or a 5th rounder. That 3rd rounder is still a little bit more. It's kind of viewed as a premium asset a little bit. Now, I think Jalen Hunt's going to be a great pick, regardless of what happens this season. But I would agree. I mean, if he takes that next step, I think you're looking at really a slam dunk pick and a project player who really wasn't a project at all. I mean, project players aren't supposed to play in year 1. He got significant snaps in the Super Bowl sales, So this is obviously a guy who's worked out so far. He's well ahead of the curve. He's well ahead of where he should be or where he was expected to be. And if he continues to rise up, he's going to be a slam dunk of a pick because of where he is right now. He was supposed to be here. He's here. So if he ends up way up there, you know what I mean? You're going to look at him and be like, hey, that's a good pick. So I see that for sure. I actually see a big upside on him. I see an upside this might be crazy to say, and I'd be curious to hear what the people in the chat have to say. His upside is comparable to Nolan Smith's, in my opinion. Do you agree with that?
I think it's more because he's bigger.
More? You think it's bigger?
Because he's big. Because he's a bigger dude.
Yeah.
He's like 6'3", 6'4", right?
Yeah, he's big. He's not small. Nolan Smith is a little smaller. I agree. Yeah.
He's a bigger dude. I think he's got more room. I want to know what his, he needs reps like Keely Ringo needs reps. I so love the way Vic Fangio talks, Xander. I mean, he's not giving an indictment on Keely Ringo being good or bad. He goes, I don't know yet.
Right.
I want to get him reps. Don't you agree that you're going to see a lot more players on defense playing in the exhibition season because Vic needs to find out more about some of these younger guys on what these younger guys' capabilities are than what we saw last year. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. The other thing, by the way, and Shady brings it up, I was about to go there. Shady took the words right out of my mouth, but that's the other big thing about Jalix Hunt. Going back to him real quick. He played safety back at, Colgate or Cornell? Yep. I think it was the Ivy League, Cornell probably. Yep. That is a big feather in the cap. People might not think that matters. You need to have a little bit of that skill set to be an every down edge in Vic Fangio's defense, and he has that in spades. So that's gonna, if he can get after the quarterback and set the edge, which he showed progress in last year, he's going to be a very good player for us.
Look at the identity of players you draft. Lane was a quarterback at one time in his younger day. You had, what was it? Hunt played, like you said, in the secondary. Mulata was a rugby player. These guys are athletes.
Dude, they're athletes. They're versatile.
They're not.
And they're what Rico says right here. They're what Rico says right here. They not just high football IQ. They want high IQ human beings in the room. And they get that. Jalix Hunt, Ivy League guy. This dude, they brought in Ty Robinson. The picture Rico Mart has said here. Did you hear what Jalen Carter had to say about him?
No.
Jalen Carter's like, yo, watch out for this dude. This dude's going to make an impact this year. He's the real deal. He showed up. He's working. That's what Jalen Carter had to say about him. So I can read you the quote too. I can pull it up. But I do agree with you, man. They have a type of player that they look for that's versatile, smart, has the right mentality. Going back to C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that's probably part of the reason they let him go. Is that he didn't have all those boxes. He didn't check all those boxes off the field. So, but I agree. Let me read you the Carter quote. You'll like it.
By the way, when you come back, pull up Philly 500s because he made a comment on the show today, and he wants to make sure that he was understood when he was talking about Nolan.
Philly 500 destroyed today.
He was great.
So Jalen Carter said this about rookie DT Ty Robinson. He said, "You seen him yet? ? That boy is fire. I ain't even going to lie. He's moving good. He's a big boy. He's here and he's working. I think he's going to have a big impact this season."
I wonder what that means, though, in the rotation. You're going to put him on first and second? You're going to put him on third down, or is he a 3-down guy?
He could be a 3-down guy, bro. He could be your Milton Williams replacement. Moro Ojomo is a good pass rusher, but Moro Ojomo has ways to go in terms of being the every down guy. Now you do have Jordan Davis, so that'll offset that a little bit, but I think Ty Robinson is a much better comp for the loss of Milton Williams than Moro Ojomo is actually. And Moro Ojomo is a player I like, by the way, 7th-round pick who can get after the quarterback and rush the passer. But Milton Williams got good at most things by the end of the year. He wasn't great against the run. I think Ty will be actually better than Milton at his peak, but I'm high on Ty Robinson.
That's what his forte was at Nebraska. He was good.
You know who deserves credit for Ty Robinson? My boy Abe in the chat. Abe, are you in here? Abe has been telling me about Ty Robinson since like 3 months. It was like February 15th after the parade. And he's like,
before the draft.
Ty Robinson. Huh?
Before the draft.
Dude, way before the draft. Months before the draft by Abe. There he is. He's here. Yeah, Abe was on. Abe was my Ty Robinson truther. So, Abe, I hope it works out because I'll give you kudos for that.
Do me a favor, Xander. Pull up Philly 500 because I want to make sure.
What did you drop a super? I didn't see it.
No. He didn't drop a super. He put a quote up there because he wanted everyone to be sure.
Oh, I got it.
He understood.
Philly 500. Jalix Hunt 6.5 sacks minimum. I wasn't talking about Dean being ready. I was referring to Campbell. Yeah, well, he did say Campbell is looking like August. Yeah, they start training camp presumably end of July, like June.
July 27th.
Yeah. or it could be even the week prior.
Okay.
Could
really?
Be. I don't know. This isn't.
Most teams
it's not confirmed yet.
Oh, it's not
confirmed yet. But I said that this morning. Because I pulled up the calendar.
Oh, you're right. They may start sooner because they're playing Thursday, and teams that play in that Thursday game get a chance to show up to camp earlier.
I think a week earlier, which would be like the 20th or the 21st. Now that sounds early to me. That sounds early to me.
I don't know, man, because you're going to play on that Thursday. You make it. It may be a couple days. I don't know about a week. It may be a couple days, like around the 24th. Something like that. So if you're talking the 24th, we're already in June, dude. I can't believe I can't believe where we are here. All right, Emmanuel Acho had a comment. I didn't like his two takes on the Eagles repeating. If the Eagles are to repeat, what are your two questions that you want answered early in the season? If they're going to be in Santa Clara for the Super Bowl, Xander, I think it's Super Bowl 60. Okay? If they're going to be there, what are the two questions that you want answered early in the season this coming year?
What's the offense need to do this year? Are you going to run the ball the same way you did and be as effective? And I think the team could do it. My question is, how are defenses going at it? So basically, it's a long-winded way of saying Jalen Hurts. What is going to be Jalen Hurts' responsibility to this football team this year? Every single year, the team has asked him to be a different player. And much to his credit, he has been that player perfectly to the point where they went to 2 Super Bowls and came between, within a couple plays of winning 2 of them. They won 1 of them. So what is the season? What are defenses doing, especially early, that are going to force this offense to look a little bit different? I do think it's going to have to evolve. I don't think you're going to just come out with the same style you did at the end of last year and just steamroll teams. The other thing I think matters is, and this ties into my first point, I have another one that I'll give you for number 2, but the defense matters with this because if they're not giving you as good field position, if they're not holding teams to as low of points, if they're not doing their job as good as they did it last year, it's not as easy to be a running football team, right? Last year, everything was very complimentary in the way that it worked. So all those pieces have changed. What does the pie look like? What does the distribution of the pie look like? So that's number 1, is what the offense has to do differently, what Jalen Hurts has to do differently for the team. And then number 2, you could say defense as a whole, but I'll go on the edge. I'll just go defensive line. If that defensive line takes a big hit, takes a big fall off from what they were last year, is that defense going to operate as well? Is Zach Bond going to be as good? Are the guys in coverage going to be as good? Are the holes in the secondary going to be exposed if the front isn't good? So that's probably where I'd go, but you could toss it up between that and secondary.
I'm going to go here and you tell me. I remember something at the start of 2023. I remember, and I explicitly told you this. I watched Jalen Hurts versus, what was it? It was New England. Remember he had that pre-slide? And I was like, wow, there's a business decision. Are they telling him to get down? Are they wanting to make sure he's healthy? And I saw some business decisions that were made. And they were kind of like, keep yourself healthy. We need you in not only September, but we most totally need you in December, January, and February.
Right.
If we win. I wonder how they're going to handle Barkley. Okay. Are you really just going to go, here's 30 carries, and let's start that bitch out again in September with 30 carries? Or are you going to do this? Is it going to have some more balance to it?
Yeah.
Because
I agree with you on this.
How are you looking at him? You got a tough start to the season. Really, you could make the argument that the toughest part of your is in the first quarter pole of the year, right? How are you managing him? If Barkley said the other day, we know what the recipe is, we just got to stick to the formula. Okay. What is that going to mean? Are they going to change a little bit of the recipe, Xander? Are they going to, here's 35 carries? No, we're going to run more RPOs with Hurts maybe at the beginning of the year. I heard John and you talking about more tight end shit was being implemented, installed in the, okay, we're going to, How is that going to look? And the other one, to me, I think it's your secondary. How are you figuring it out? Is Cooper DeJean going to be in base, on the field, in nickel, when you guys are 70% of the time in nickel? Is he going to play corner? Who's the other corner over there? Who's corner 2? Is it Ringo? Do you feel comfortable with Adoree Jackson? Do you feel all that? I mean, I heard Adoree Jackson. I'm not impressed with that guy. I think he's okay. I'm not, no disrespect. But, I mean, that's not Darius Slay out there. And as much as I said it too, hey, the guy's long into, I don't know, maybe a 70%, 80% Slay would have been better coming back this year. I don't know. I think that right there to me are my 2 questions. Your safety, your nickel and dime, and what you're going to do at corner. And how are you going to manage? Are you going to put Barkley on a pitch count? Those are going to be my question marks that I want to see answered early.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's way different this year, too, because of the success you had last year when it comes to Barkley. Like, what happens if you have him healthy at the end of the year. Last year, you were coming off a collapse, and you just signed Saquon Barkley. And in a way, there's a need to justify or show, how good of a player he is and why you signed him and everything like that. This year, it's like, all right, we know what we got, and we know what it can do if it works late in the year. How do we make sure that, or do our best at least to make sure Saquon's available there? I don't think they're going to do a pitch count, but I do think they'll use him a little bit less. Like, I don't know how you couldn't, and I saw, by the way, I saw a comment about Jalen. I mean, my question here is, like, Hurts got his money and then started sliding. Don't we want the quarterback to slide?
Yeah, doesn't Brady say that every week? You got to learn how to slide. Get down.
Get the frick down. I mean, feels like every quarterback ever you've always wanted to say, get down, get down, get down. I mean, you want the guy to be healthy, so I don't really view it like that. But with Saquon, I'm kind of in agreement. I got to feel like they're not going to run him as much because they know what he can do late in the year and what that can do for your football team. But at the end of the year, at the end of the day, if you don't give yourself a good shot at the end of the year, what does it really matter? So I think maybe they're going to do what it takes to win. If it works, here's the other question. Here's the other side of it. How do you go away from it? Like, if you have your offensive line working as good as they are, and you have Saquon Barkley, who's as good, elusive, fast, and creative as he is as a runner, how do you go away from that? Like I don't think you do. You got Lane and Mailata. Dude, Lane, Mailata, Landon Dickerson are still going to be out there. Landon Dickerson is still going to be taking heads off people. How do you not take advantage of that? I don't know. I do think it might come back a little bit, but I think it's a good take by you.
Yeah, how about this? I mean, it's like, but to the other side of that, you do this. So wait a minute. If I got American Pharaoh and I'm a jockey, hey, don't run so hard to Belmont.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, hey, we're going to pull back because, we got a lot of shit going on here at the end.
Wait, as far as the secondary, though, with your comment on that, how about the way Vic Fangio talks about Cooper DeJean?
I love it.
Dude, it literally sounds like Cooper DeJean is my safeguard at every position.
Yes.
If my safeties suck, I'll play Cooper there. If my outside corners suck, I'll play Cooper there. If I don't have a slot to replace him, I'm playing Cooper there. He can do everything all over that secondary, and Vic is literally using him and basically told us this yesterday that he will use him and plug him in wherever he feels the
weakness is.
Exactly. The weakness is too big to overcome. I mean, people who are asleep on the Cooper DeJean hype train, you better get up off it or get awake and get on it, because that dude is going to be a stud player for a long time. If he stays healthy, I could see Canton in his future.
June 4th, I'm making a prediction. Okay? He's your starting corner against the Cowboys.
Outside.
You bet.
I'm not going to say you're wrong. No way.
I
think there's a chance he's your starting corner, safety, and slot. In base he'll be on the outside, and nickel he'll be on the inside, and maybe in big nickel he's in safety.
Third down, I'm putting him out wide. First and second, I'm putting him inside.
Right, I agree.
I'd be the first guy I ever see do that, dude. Hey, you have to admit they think higher of Cooper DeJean than Q.
Well, they're different players. They're very different players. Like, they're both cornerback on the chart, but they are very different football players. Q is a corner through and through. He is an outside corner that you put on the outside. You put him in this case in zone, but I believe he could be. I believe he'd be a decent man player as well. But that's what Quinyon is. Cooper is an athlete. Cooper is put him on the defense and let him track the ball. Let him be a ball hawk. Let him follow the best player. Let him play slot. Let him play corner. Let him play safety. Let him play freaking linebacker in some instances if you needed it. I mean, I think this dude could do everything out there. Cooper freaking DeJean, baby.
Hey, is Keely Ringo a big dude?
He's a big dude.
Well, then why not put him in the slot?
I wondered about this. He's not the build for a slot.
He's too big?
I could see. Actually, I think if you said
bigger than Cooper?
Yeah. Keely Ringo is big, dude.
Well, shit, man. If he's this guy
he's
runs
6'2".
Shit.
6'2", 207. Keep in mind, Isaiah Rodgers was like 5'9" in the slot last year, dude.
Yeah, but doesn't this guy run a 4.4?
Ringo's, I don't know, man. Here, let me say this to you. You say Ringo to the slot, I say no. What about Ringo to safety?
Sure. And plus, it's an easier position to play.
Makuba in the slot.
Okay.
Cooper to the outside.
Right. Playing next to Ringo. And you have Swing and Sydney. And you got Cooper outside. Yeah. That sounds right.
I don't know if Ringo could play safety, but I do think he's got that big physical body, and he has those issues with he's very handsy in coverage. So, like, what's the natural progression of that is probably put him at safety where he doesn't have to be in those positions as much.
You know what it sounds like, Xander? You know, what yacht am I going to go on today? Am I going to go on that fucking yacht? Am I going to go on that yacht?
No, that's not really true. You got a pile of used boats, and you're hoping the one you're hoping the one you pick doesn't have a bunch of issues, or you know, the engine's not shot on it or something. All right, there's still some unproven assets there.
From now on, I'm going to start doing this. We're going to have the last question here, folks.
Oh wait, by the way, Handsome Hustle. You see what he says?
No.
Vic brought up his name yesterday, Tristan McCullum.
Oh, I know he did. And
I said, I gave you a shout this morning. I'm like, I shout out Big Sileo for that because he's been saying McCullum. John's been dismissing it. And then they asked him a question about Sidney Brown or Andrew Makuba. And he goes, yeah, and throw in Tristan McCullum as well. I'm like, that's funny.
Because that's the guy he went to a year ago. I mean, that's the guy they put in. So my last question before we get to all the supers, by the way, please hit the like button here. It's always going to be a retort that I hear something when you're talking with John. So I'm going to give you a chance to respond. I heard John McMullen say that he didn't think Jalen Hurts played very well last year. And I wanted to hear your take on that. Do you believe
that for months?
I mean, okay. Well, do you think Jalen didn't play well last year in season?
I don't think it was his best season ever. But again, as we mentioned yesterday on the show, the way we won was largely circumstantial, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is when they shifted off the passing game in week 4, they did it because the offense needed a spark. They were 2-2. The sky was falling. The locker room wasn't bought in. There was a lot of issues, all right, at that time. When you do that, it's like hockey. What do you do in hockey when you're down 3-0? You pull the goalie. What do you do in baseball? You take the pitcher out. You change the lineup up. You do something, all right? They did something. Then they realized, holy shit, the league is not ready for this, and we can do this every single week. Then the circumstance denied them from ever having to go back to Jalen Hurts. To say that Jalen Hurts couldn't have led the team, I think is off base because we saw him do it in previous years. Last year, he didn't really have to. It never went back to what it was before week 4, where they came out and wanted to be a high-powered.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
It's not
but it wasn't
either way.
I don't think they made the change and said, this is what we're doing, whether it works or not. We can't go back to throwing the ball because it won't work.
It evolved.
I think it was, this is so good.
Yeah.
We'd be fools to do anything different.
No, I think it picked up after the bye, and it kept doing this, Xander. Well, shit, I'm going to keep feeding it, keep feeding it, keep feeding it, keep feeding it, keep feeding it. And they kept doing it, and it evolved into that.
It's still spitting out money. It's still spitting out money. It's still, why are you going to stop?
Right.
You know?
Right.
The reward was there.
Right.
So, and then, by the way, when that reward did dry up a little bit in the most important game, Jalen Hurts did what he had to do. So while I understand the sentiment of saying, zoom out, yes, it wasn't Jalen Hurts' best season. Zoom out a little further, Jalen Hurts was the perfect quarterback for the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles because he knew exactly what he had to do. He did it well. He didn't turn the football over. He made plays when he needed to make plays. He had big runs in the playoffs, that big 50-yarder to the Rams. He did other things. And then when we needed him to step up, i.e. Dak Prescott, lights get bright, i.e. Justin Herbert, lights get bright, i.e. Trevor Lawrence, lights get bright, and they shrink, Jalen Hurts had his best game of the year. So I have a hard time criticizing him for it, but I do think you can objectively say it wasn't his best year because that's not what the team called on him to be.
Don't you think this is easier for the league to catch up with because it is so one-dimensional, though, that, again, if I'm a coordinator in a team and I'm Dallas, I saw what Hurts did throwing the football in the Super Bowl. So that proves your point that they did do that. But for me, don't you as a league go, well, what I'm going to do, the number one thing I'm going to say is I'm going to try to stop the run first. And don't you think the league is going to do everything in their power to catch up with that? Because it's not balanced, Xander. What it is I'm going to catch up by doing what? Run stunts, run schemes. I'm going to do whatever it takes to stop that run game. And I'm going to play the law of averages here. Yes, you may win a bunch of games still running the football, but do you really believe that you could still win 12 or 13 games if you change philosophy and stop running it as much as you do? I don't know. And again, it's an unknown. I don't know they can. And people will go back to 22. Well, the reason that they've changed and every year it's a different Jalen Hurts is because they're evolving.
Well, wait a second. Why'd they collapse in 23?
Because they didn't have problem solvers. Coaches didn't know how to resolve the issues that they had on the team. They didn't know.
Okay, but were the issues largely offensive or defensive?
I think they were on both sides of the football.
Well, the offense finished 8th ranked. The defense finished 30th. Which do you think?
They also were high in turnovers.
Okay, but again, the point is, what if Jalen Hurts had a better defense that year? What does that season look like? Jalen was actually having when they were 10-1. Jalen Hurts was number 2 in the MVP voting.
Okay,
year that they collapsed, not 22.
If Jalen plays the way he did this past season, don't you think the Eagles are in a better place because instead of having 20 turnovers, you've got 6?
Well, he's got to keep the turnovers down without a doubt. But if he has the same level of efficiency with a larger amount of attempts and a bigger, usage rate, I think we're going to have an incredible offense this year. I really do. Because last year the problem wasn't the 20 attempts that Jalen did have. That wasn't the problem. He was very effective in those 20 attempts for the most part. So if his efficiency remains the same and he can add on that and build on that and maybe up the usage in the passing game, I think you're looking at a really scary player. I truly believe this in my heart, Sileo. Jalen Hurts is not yet in his prime or really close. I think you're 2 years out from prime Jalen Hurts.
I see, his last 3 years, they do look different, but yet they look the same kind of. If he's going to evolve, what do you think he evolves into?
What do you mean? Last year was his first year at the line of scrimmage. Okay. Give him one more full year of that, and then I think his 28th season, when he's 28 years old, he's going to go in and be the best quarterback. But that I think is Jalen's prime.
What does that look like?
Prime would be right now if Jason Kelce wasn't here.
What does that look like to you? I'm just curious. I'm not.
Same efficiency with an increased usage. It's got to be more than 20 attempts a game long term. But if you do what you did last year within the attempts that you had, low turnovers, 70 completion percentage, all those different things, you're going to have a really good – you have good enough players. Like, this is the thing, everybody wants to have the superstar. Everybody wants to have Batman and Superman at quarterback. Everybody wants that. But that's not always what wins in this team game. We don't need Jalen to be Superman. No. Why do we want him to be? We have great football players, amazing football players all over the board.
It's a unicorn team.
Exactly. All over the chessboard. All we need is Jalen to get them the ball, to be smart with the football, to be effective, to be efficient, not turn the ball over, and get the offense into the right plays as he started to learn to do last year. Jalen Hurts' best football is in front of him.
Okay. Do you believe that there will be a drop-off in the run game without Becton in there?
Potentially. Mekhi Becton was an absolute unit in the running game last year.
He was,
and if people are watching and they're not aware of that, like, you'll have fun going on YouTube tonight and typing in Eagles highlights.
Away like trash.
Watch the highlights on the running game last year, which, by the way, are all over YouTube, and they're awesome to watch. Mekhi Becton was saucing dudes left and right. So
throw them out of the bar.
It'd be fair to say you could have a small regression, but I do think you have enough guys on that off. Like, it's not like Mekhi, as great as he was the 5th best offensive lineman last year. That's the truth. So it's like, I think he could maybe hurt a little bit, but I think you're good enough where everywhere else that it's not going to be noticeable enough to make a big impact.
Don't you agree that that's probably the best guy that Lane Johnson's played with in the last 10 years?
Was Sayamalu there, or was he left guard?
Sayamalu was right guard.
Sayamalu's
having a really good career in Pittsburgh right now, so probably him. Okay, Sayamalu,
I'd say.
Okay,
Brandon Brooks was left guard, right? Yeah, Brandon Brooks was left guard.
Yeah. So, but Becton was, folks. He's right.
Yeah, I think Brandon Brooks was left, right? He was left.
Yeah, he was left guard.
He was left guard. Isaac was right. Yeah, Isaac was right.
Yeah, Isaac was the right guard. All right,
Brandon Brooks was a
really good football player. Absolutely
badass football player. A really good football
Brooks
player.
was a great. But again, Becton was part of that 2K rushing attack.
He was. I'm not. I don't want to take any credit away from him from that. I mean, I think he well deserved and well earned his piece of history when it comes to that running game. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Let's get to the supers here, folks.
All right, let's do it. Ben Dover checks in. I've accepted that Jalen not playing to his full potential is not a knock. That means he can still get better, which means the entire O gets better. Agreed.
Dude,
Agreed,
I mean, 100%. Every single time I bring that fact up, I go, dude, you played A+ football, running it, C+ passing, and you won the Super Bowl. That's not a rip. Do you understand that? That's room for improvement. I mean,
Brooks right next to Lane, by the way. We were wrong.
Okay, Brooks was next to Lane. Okay, so he
I
was.
thought he was next to JP.
Me too. I don't know why I thought that, but Brooks is a great.
He was a damn good football player. He was the best one.
He was a really great one, man. All right, let's get to another one here, guys. If you want supers, please throw them up there. We really appreciate them. I missed a bunch of them during the.
I'll get to them. We don't have a 5:30 guest, right? I'm not missing something.
No.
Ben says, Jalen doesn't need to be Superman. Efficiency. I want to see him be confident and throw missiles when he wants, not when allowed, if that makes sense.
Let me add something to this.
He had more autonomy in that offense than you think last year. Go watch that first play in the NFC title game when Saquon Barkley ran at 60 yards. Jalen Hurts checked into that play. So how many times did that happen last year? I think a lot. And that's why I said, because he's got autonomy now at the line of scrimmage, you're going to see a better version of Jalen Hurts.
I'll tell you something, Xander. You give me a Super Bowl MVP, I'm going to fucking have the confidence of King Kong. Okay? You know, you guys were talking about him throwing dimes today or yesterday, whatever it was, during OTAs. I feel better about him doing that now because you know why? The confidence level of that guy coming off a Super Bowl MVP. Fuck, dude. How would you feel about playing in the ultimate game, bringing home the ultimate prize, and then on top of that, you brought the ultimate prize to yourself home?
Yeah.
Being the MVP. I mean, wouldn't you be walking around like you had like an 18-inch, you'd be dropping that bitch on the table going, how you doing, Sue?
Slapping your nuts on the table, no doubt. Certainly would do it too if he came in this chat room on the Big Sill show for sure.
Hey man, I'd be like dropping that hammer.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look, that's why Eagles fans have confidence, and they should have confidence. I mean, this guy's a good player, man. He's an unconventional player. I do agree with that. You know, like I think even Jalen Hurts' biggest fans, and I think I'm one of his biggest fans. I really do. I mean, I've been a fan of his since early Alabama days when he came in. I have his number 2 Jalen Hurts jersey in Philly, which was his first year. I've been hearing you
talk about this dude since you went to Dallas and you saw him play in that opening.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm a big fan, but I don't think I think it's fair to say, like, even his biggest fans sometimes watch him and they get pissed. at something because he just has an unconventional style of play, right? Like sometimes you're like, fucking A, don't roll to the right, or why didn't you see that guy? Like, I think we're all football fans. Like, we all feel that a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, we all know that, Jalen does give us a very good chance to win. We've won more in the last 4 years with him at the helm than any other quarterback we've ever had in a 4-year period. So,
Absolutely.
I don't think that can be lost on some people, man. I really don't. I think the kid is, again, it looks weird sometimes. It might not look how some people want it to, but he wins. He shows up to work.
52 wins in 4 years, starting in 2 Super Bowl appearances.
Wait, let me say this to you, though. All right, and I agree with you when you say, "Oh, it's not Philly," the cover of magazines and all the Met galas and all these things. But you know what is Philly about Jalen Hurts, man? That dude shows up every week. He shows up every day. There's one thing. You might have your doubts on Jalen Hurts, people in the chat. You might have your doubts, Sileo. You know what I don't doubt? That Jalen Hurts is working his balls off every single day to get better. At whatever he deems that is, I don't know. But I know he's given me his very best. All right? And in Philly, that's Philly. That is something I can respect. 100%. And then you add the success into it. You've added what he's done to the city. You add that we did have a parade on Broad Street last year in February. I was looking at pictures of it today on Xander time after Birds 365. I mean, that's real.
It is.
That's not opinion. That's not made
resume.
up.
It's resume.
Yeah, that's real.
Yep.
So I give him that. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
It is. It's resume, dude. I mean, you can't shit on resume. Absolutely.
Yeah, but remember what I told you about Allen Iverson a couple of weeks ago? Who's revered more in Philly, Allen Iverson or Joel Embiid? Both were in their careers as unbelievable basketball players with unbelievable talent that never won.
When I look at Allen Iverson, he wants to pull your heart out of your chest. When I look at Joel Embiid, he wants to sit down and have a cocktail with you.
You knew when he was between those lines, he gave you his very best. He gave you all his heart, all his body, all his mind, all his soul into that game.
That's right.
And you knew it, whether he won or not.
You felt
when
it.
He dropped 50 in the double overtime game in the finals. You knew it. Jalen Hurts, I get the same feeling. Leading up to the Super Bowl, I can think back to February. Oh, what's going on? One thing I knew, Jalen Hurts is doing the homework he needs to do. I know that. Now, will it pan out? I hope. But I know he's doing what he needs to do.
He was prepared to win. He was.
Absolutely.
I think the Chiefs in that game didn't know what the unknown was. I think they knew what was coming. I did. I think one team looked like the hunter. The other team looked like the hunted in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. That was that was their slogan too, right? Let's hunt.
Let's get the supers, man. Great guys. I can't thank you guys enough, man.
Prince checking in. What up, Prince? The first thing Jalen Hurts said after the Super Bowl was that he hated the fact that they have a late start to the offseason training. Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
He literally said that right away. Shorter
but
offseason.
I think they're catching up.
Prince, you know what he really meant by that, right? His girl was planning that wedding all season long, nagging him about everything, and he just keeps winning. The season gets extended. He's like, come on, man. I got a wedding. I got all this bullshit to deal with. Now I got shorter off season, too. Come on, man. King says, Jalen is what Rondo was on the Celtics. We don't need him to be
Rajon Rondo.
That's a great comp. I think Jalen's a little more than that, but Rondo.
Wait a minute. That motherfucker was
Rondo when I was younger.
Dude, I am a huge Rajon Rondo guy.
Me too, man. When I was younger, dude, I was like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. We used to load up 2K after school, me and my buddies. I'd go right on, man, be the Celtics. Are you kidding me, man? With Rajon Rondo, Pierce, Garnett. That was a net. I know Philly hates Boston, but that was a good team.
I love him, man. I'm a huge Rajon Rondo guy.
18 checks in. What up, Jason? 18. I have a sneaky suspicion that Ojulari will actually be a player if healthy. The organization glazed Cooper more than any other player I can remember. They do, bro. They promote Cooper everywhere.
Everywhere. His face is like, who do you think is a bigger face of the defense right now? Cooper DeJean or Jalen Carter?
It's Coop. It's become Coop.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter's the best player, but he's not the outward promotional player that you can do with Coop.
Yeah. All the honeys. All that shit. This guy's got the honey stuff.
Guy's a dog.
Ben,
again. What's up, Ben? Thank you for the support.
Dude, all the chicks in Philly must love this guy.
Kimberly says, Z, my super this AM on Nolan. Munden's the same. Yeah, she was talking about how, Nolan Smith is a process guy, with Georgia and all those connections.
I am so impressed with him, man.
Yeah,
I just really am. I'm so impressed with the way he
Here
talks.
we go. Ready to spice up the show. Here's Brian Pumper. Dudes report that it was no secret Banana Pudding and CJ did not get along. DB room was uncomfortable, so good shit how we sent both of those females packing.
Yeah, hey, Christian Parker had a problem with him. Do you remember when I posted that and everyone jumped my ass? I said, I'm being told that Gardner Johnson had to be told numerous times in meetings to shut the fuck up. And when I said that, people were like, oh, Faith. And I'm like, no. And then you heard Vic go, yeah, I don't care. Just get him out of here. It didn't feel like he went like this, Andrew. I don't care. Just get him out of here. I think Gardner Johnson got his panties in a bind.
Yeah, I agree. Here's Ben again following up. Hey, Xander, Jalen Hurts does turn into Superman of the postseason, though. Correct, Ben. Good call out, brother. Sileo will have to acknowledge that eventually.
That is ridiculous.
He did after February for a couple of weeks. And then
for a couple of weeks.
It's faded off. Kyle Kokorski says, the more I think about it, the next move is probably for a cornerback.
No, not if you put Coop out there. Dude.
I want Coop on the outside just to shut everybody up who tells me he can't be on the outside.
Put him out there on third down. Put him in the middle of the field on first and second down. I mean, I don't think that's that hard to do.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's a $30 million a year player. You do that.
A-Team says, I agree. Sills, I don't think we ever had such a truth teller as a coach, even back in the Jim Johnson days. I wonder what the Yachtsman thinks of Fangio. Elite. I agree.
Dude, do you have a problem? Hey, do you think the Eagles, I should say, have a problem with a guy going like this? Yeah, he's not ready for August.
Nah, because what I think it does? You know what I think it does in a weird way?
Keeps the organization honest.
Well, but I think they've done a pretty good job at that, actually, despite the way that they might be outward. I think they are pretty good at introspection, but I think in a weird way, it insulates them from responsibility on the defense. Right?
Okay.
Like Vic Fangio is so forthcoming on everything. Vic Fangio tells you the truth on all the defensive players. Vic Fangio. So in a way, I'm not saying it shields them completely, but I do think it gives them a sense of everybody knows Vic Fangio is in charge of our defense. That's our guy, right? I think
Are you shocked, though, Xander, on how quick he's grabbed that equity in the building?
Yeah, but they've liked him for a long time. Like they wanted him the year before. Remember,
22.
After 22.
I remember the Dolphins jumped the gun on them.
Yeah,
and they got him.
Yes,
and they wanted him.
And then Jonathan Gannon fucked him. Right?
No, remember? Didn't he in 22? Wasn't he a consultant on that team?
Yeah.
I went to I heard you say this about 23, or somebody said something. If Vic was DC in 23, what would have happened? I ask you this. If Vic was your DC in 22, do you win the Super Bowl?
Nah. Oh, 22? Yeah. Yeah. I thought you meant 23.
22.
Yeah. 22.
Do you win it? If Gannon or if Vic's your coordinator, you win it.
I think so.
I do too.
What do you think the Yachtsman thinks of Fangio?
I think the Yachtsman looks at him like he looks at Jim Johnson and how Jim Johnson ran his defense. There's no shit about it. There's no gray area with him. He doesn't grade people on bell curves. He's an old school type guy that says, and you know why he's not a head football coach? I know why he's not a head football coach anymore. Nick, your boy, John McMullen, wrote a great article, I think it was a year ago, on the politics of Nick Sirianni.
Yes.
This guy is not politically correct.
None.
He's more
Zero.
like Trump.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say it like that, but I agree.
He speaks what's on his mind.
Well, no, because you could make an argument whether you like him or not. Trump is politically savvy. I don't think Vic is politically savvy. I just think he's brutally honest. He's brutally truthful. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I think it's the way he talks like Trump. Trump will say any kind of bullshit. And just like the Gardner Johnson thing.
Trump prefers to be bombastic to get to create narratives and headlines. I mean, the guy's dominated every headline and every tabloid for the last 20 years.
Here's Vic and Gardner Johnson. Fuck it. He's the yesterday's trash. I don't really care. It was a salary cap thing. And this guy's all butthurt in Houston. He's been off the team since February.
Brian Pumper. We got this one. Sills, you see CJ Gardner-Johnson crying again? Yeah, he's an emotional wreck. Umberto, Q held Terry to. Did you get that one? Wait, you had some ones.
I missed a bunch of them though during the.
Did you get this one? What does speed have to do with playing zone? Yeah, you got the David Mack, Dan Sileo. What's Hurts' record versus QBs who makes over 50
That's
million?
A great record. Probably undefeated.
Probably very good.
Okay.
Christopher Michael says Dak could come into Mark's house and start slapping family members around, and Mark would come on the show and praise him.
Oh, Christopher. Oh,
he does love Dak. His Dak. He really does.
Love Dak.
Leon says, sad but true. Aubrey is the Cowboys' X factor.
Aubrey, okay.
I think Eagles fans are a little bit asleep at the wheel on the Cowboys this year. If you look through their roster, it's not awful. It's not awful.
How many
wins you got? For the Cowboys?
How many wins you got for them?
10.
You think they're a 10-win team? Well, between 7 and 10 depends
I think between 10 and 11, somewhere in there. I can see 11. Okay. I can see 11, and then the commies come in with 10, and they get second in the NFC East, as predicted by your boy Big Z. Spider Ricos. He's more D-plane guy. What does that mean?
Again, this is a reference in case if you're 30 or under, you have no idea. He's the guy on Fantasy Island. De-plane. So Xander's, dude, you put Xander in left field on that. He had no the fuck you're talking about.
Talking about Kyle. VJ says Mark is right. Mark needs that 500 is right. Mark needs to hold Dak accountable.
He doesn't. That's for sure.
Was Jerome Brown lazy at times?
Yes.
You got that right.
No.
All right, we got them all. Oh, here we go. I see Tanner having a great What, on the bench? What the fuck do you mean? And Pumper? If we get to see Tanner McKee for an extended period of time, the Philadelphia Eagles are fucked. We are effed. All right? Fucked. Effed.
Hey, Brian, is it Tanner season? Is that what you're saying? Oh, dude, I have to agree with Big Z, man. If you see Tanner McKee, you're going to be in the top 10 picking in the draft. If you see Tanner McKee.
8 wins. He'd wrangle 8 wins together.
With that team? Man, I don't know. I still think you're a 10-win team.
Philadelphia Eagles were the only only football team in the world where the quarterback supposedly doesn't matter.
That's right, man. That's right. You don't have to play. You don't have to play great every
7-8 wins with Tanner McKee.
Couple wins here and there.
13 and a couple playoff wins for Jalen Hurts.
Couple playoff wins. That's all you need from the kid.
That's not Tanner. Tanner McKee's not giving you that.
No. He'll win 10 games. Xander. He'll get you 10 wins, but Hurts wins you the Super Bowl.
7-8 wins for Tanner McKee.
So you say 7-8 wins so that you could downplay it and upgrade Hurts when that team has got a great run. Barkley's the guy, dude.
No, dude. Nowhere in the world does a football team not need their quarterback to be a competent player everywhere outside of Philly. So
John doesn't think he was that great last year.
Mr. International says, that's your opinion, Xander. Hey, Mr. International, why don't you take a lap? No fucking shit, dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm the one on the screen talking. Come on, International. Take a lap.
Look at
You're better than that, International. You got a blue wrench and all. You're better than that.
Look at this here.
I thought it was John McMullen's opinion. No shit. The NFL doesn't want us to have a top 10 pick. No, they don't.
Oh my God, that would be frightening. Big Z, keep kicking ass there with Birds 365.
Turner is a competent QB. Nobody said he wasn't a competent QB. All right, Crowley, you start a football team. You start it with Tanner McKee. I'll start it with Jalen Hurts. Let's see who goes further.
Hey, bro, I can't even say that. Big Z, great stuff, brother. I appreciate you. We'll catch you tomorrow.
All right, later, Sills. Appreciate everybody. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, we got him. See you.
You got it. All right, Big Z. We'll make sure you check Xander out. Birds 365. Let's see here. The most demoralizing thing you could do to a defense is run the ball down their throat. Absolutely true. Hurts is the perfect quarterback for smash mouth football, just like AJ, Saquon, and the O-line. Eric, it's physically imposing on what you guys do to teams. There is no doubt about it. It's physically imposing. There you go. Take him. It's all good. Congratulations, man. That's right. I have some questions on the NFC East. We're going to do that, okay? I will not allow Tanner McKee slander. They keep using these. I mean, hey, dude, to me, I think Tanner's a good player, but that guy's not going to win you a Super Bowl, dude. He's not. I will not allow the Manning slanders. Manning slanders. Come on, dogs. Okay? Eagles offense firing on all cylinders is scary. Well, when has that happened? The 2 games that mattered the most, for sure. Can you imagine, though, if they played that way every week? There would be no beating you. And you would be closing teams out and destroying them. There's no doubt. Running the ball won't help you in a shootout. You got to get to the shootout with the Eagles. When were the Eagles in a shootout ever? You know why they weren't in a shootout? Because they were mauling teams. They were beating them up at the point of attack. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, Birds run the ball in shootouts. Also, Barkley scores on long runs as much as other teams pass for TDs. The backup quarterback theory is the easiest one to break. And you nerds still falling. Hey, he's right. The most popular player on every single NFL team is the backup QB. Okay? Because everyone's like, oh, this guy sucks. The next guy's going to come. That's not true. You're a backup for a reason. Until proven otherwise. Well, Sills, wait a minute. Brady and Hurts were backups. True. Opportunity. John said that today. That's right. Kurt Warner got a great opportunity when Trent Green went down. He just needs more reps. That could very well be. Kirk Cousins was a 4th rounder in Washington. He turned out to be a very good quarterback. A championship quarterback? No. But again, guys like Dak, do you understand who Dak and guys like Kirk Cousins are? Do you guys know? Those kind of players are the floor of what a good quarterback is. Guy who throws for about 4,000 yards, 25 or more touchdowns, and is competent at the position. The elite guys are like the Lamar Jacksons and the Joe Burrows. Those guys are different. Okay? Those are different type of dudes. That's right. They're reliable. And they're going to be able to win you games. Okay? I mean, that's right. I mean, that's the floor. Shit, you're hoping Michael Penix has the career that Kirk Cousins had. Or you're hoping that quarterbacks have the career that Dak Prescott's had. Yeah, Dak's had a great career. It's just not a championship career. Dude, there's guys in the league that play really good football for their careers. Warren Moon is a great example of that. It's a great football career. Was he a championship football career? No. Now, again, I find that to be overrated on the indictment of a player's career. Just because a guy like Trent Dilfer wins a Super Bowl, that has in no way a conversation. Now, everything's relative. You're not comparing Dan Marino and Trent Dilfer. Now, when you start comparing Dan Marino to John Elway, that's more of an understanding. Well, what separates the two? Dan was a better talent. Elway had a better team around him. Remember, John Elway didn't carry his football teams. Terrell Davis did. And yet, when you look at Elway, Elway's a champion. Okay? Well, he was the centerpiece of that team. The centerpiece of that team was Terrell Davis. All right? I mean, you can be a great player, not have a Super Bowl ring. Okay, but what about this, Sills? Let's just use Dak and Lamar as an example. Why do they consistently fail in the postseason? Is that on them or the team? They're asked to do more. They don't have a good enough organization around organizations win championships. You can have great players on your football team. The Eagles are a great organization. From top to bottom. They do it right in the drafting. They do it right in salaries. And they do it right on the field. How many organizations in the NFL do that? Now, some of these guys, like Lamar, here's my takeaway on Lamar. He is going to go down as one of the greatest athletes in the history of pro football. There is no question about it. One of the greatest players ever to play the position. And you'll say this, what's the one thing missing? He didn't deliver a championship for his team. Here. Let's do this. When it comes to the conversation of talent and champion are two different conversations. You can't do this. Well, he doesn't have a title. And then try to tell me, unless you put it in perspective and context, well, Sills, are you comparing him to Elway or are you comparing him to Trent Dilfer? Don't tell me because you have a championship that you revere Trent Dilfer's career more than you do Dan Marino's career. Who would do that? Nobody. Nobody in their right mind would even put them in the room. Now, when you start climbing the totem pole of greatness and the great ones that have played the game, you put things in order. Were you a champion? Were you great? Were you a Hall of Famer? All of those intangibles. Did your team win? Did you make players around you better? Isn't it funny? I will give you this on Jalen Hurts. The only guy that hasn't made himself better in the Eagle huddle has been Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown didn't have these numbers in Tennessee. Barkley didn't have these numbers in New York. Devontae is fulfilled where he was drafted, and the old line got better. The only guy that did it and hasn't improved his numbers is Hurts. That's a sacrifice. That's going, well, as long as the other guys are eating, I'm okay with that. That's exactly what it is. Well, again, I'll explain it because dickheads like this don't get it. Jalen Hurts has made every other guy's career look better statistically but his. That's a good thing. That's what you want. You're like a point guard. It's like magic. You know, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. A.J. Brown was not that player at Tennessee. Do we not agree? Well, wait a minute. I mean, some people would tell you he didn't play well last year. They won a Super Bowl, though. Okay? Yeah. Said it before, rather a great team quarterback than it's such a fabulous take by you. He is a great team quarterback. Absolutely true. All right? Absolutely. Jalen Hurts sacrifices for the betterment of the team. Most evil quarterbacks would never do. Absolutely true, Twiz. You're not taking a – if you went to Joe Burrow and you said this to him, hey, man, we're going to take the ball out of your hands and we're going to run the ball back when they had Joe Mixon. We're going to give the ball to Joe Mixon. We're going Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you guys are going to have to sit on your asses here for the betterment of the team. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. One thing I like about Lamar, one thing I like that Lamar does is that he's very good throwing the ball away. It sounds elementary, but even in the midst of being tackled, he will chuck the ball. He does that. But I'll tell you, sometimes his decision-making on whether to take off or not, especially in that Eagle game last year, man, I was like this. Last year when that guy, when that guy had so many opportunities, his mom even said, okay, when you get $50 million, that stuff goes away. Doesn't matter. Okay? When you start making big money, that second round destination or designation is gone. Irrelevant. That's why when you start talking to me about Dak, Dak's the highest paid player in the NFL. That fourth or fifth round thing that he has on him, that's out the window, dude. You are the highest paid player in the National Football League. Okay? Okay? Hurts improved his wins in Super Bowl. I'm fine with that. Okay? Who's in the AFC Championship this year, big fella? I got Baltimore and Buffalo. I don't think the Chiefs make the playoffs. Oh, real quick. Let me get to these. Here's my questions in the NFC East. Hit the like button, guys. I'll ask you these questions. You tell me. Are the Eagles good enough to repeat? Do they have enough talent? Do you believe in your heart that they have enough talent right now to repeat as champions? Without even seeing them play. Okay? Without even seeing the guys that you're adding to the team. You guys are saying yes. So your expectations is yes. Okay? Here's the Dallas question. Who's Brian Schottenheimer? I mean, why am I supposed to believe? I heard Xander say 10 wins. Okay? They may have a good, they get Dak back. They add George Pickens. Okay, sounds good. But who's Brian Schottenheimer? I mean, why do I believe Brian Schottenheimer is going to be a good coach in Dallas when Jerry Jones has never hired one except for Jimmy Johnson and Parcells? Right? Why do I believe Brian Schottenheimer is going to be a good coach when Jerry doesn't hire them? I mean, I just don't see it. We'll find out. Jaden Daniels in his second year is what in Washington? Boy, I'll tell you, Eagle fans believe that guy is not going to be a good player this year. You know what's crazy? Nobody expects the Eagles to take a step back anywhere at any position. But you're expecting Jaden Daniels to take a step back. I mean, that to me is rose-colored glasses a little bit. Would I bring in Gilmore? I would entertain it. I have to look at his tape, figure out if he has anything. NFL has tape on him. So He took a football team to the NFC title game last year in his rookie year. Jalen Hurts went 9-8 in his rookie year. He took a team that hadn't been anywhere in 25 years. Lamar is doing what McNabb did, worrying about people saying, no, he's not. He's not that guy. It's not true. Lamar Jackson has 10 times the character that Donovan McNabb ever wishes he had. That is just not true. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a character guy. I would be proud to have him as the face of my franchise. He is a good representative of Baltimore, that organization. He is everything you want in the face of a franchise. I really dig him. Hurts is the best Ferrari driver in the league, hands down. Okay. So was Aikman. Niner all day. Wasn't Aikman? He drove to what? 3 F1 championships? Okay. You know? Okay. Dude, at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts throws for less than 30,000 yards in 10 years, and he's got 3 Super Bowls, who gives a shit? He'll go to Canton with 29,000 passing yards. That'll be interesting on how NFL owners or voters, I should say, see him. Okay? Pretty so great. Why isn't he the highest paid? Why isn't Patrick Mahomes? The last one, the Giants. I mean, Russell Wilson, New York. Man, look at the East. The Eagles are worried about whether or not they have enough talent to repeat. Not be good, but to repeat. Who's Brian Schottenheimer in Dallas? Why would I believe Jerry Jones has hired a right coach? When has he ever? Outside of Jimmy. Jaden Daniels? That's a good question. Who is he in the second year? Is he going to elevate? CJ, down in Houston, CJ Stroud, he took a step back, but he still put his team in the postseason. You know? And Russell Wilson in New York. What in the world is New York doing? And who is New York? Right? Man. I don't get it. I mean, where's New York going with Joe Schoen and Brian Dable? Where are they going? I mean, now Paxton, how long before you see Jackson Dart, the starting quarterback? If you're in New York, wouldn't you do this? Let me just start Jackson Dart. Why would I start Russell Wilson? Because you think you're going to win what? 5 games? Wouldn't you rather do this? If you're the Giants, wouldn't you rather play your rookie, find out who he is now, and if he sucks and you think he doesn't have upside, wouldn't you want to draft Arch Manning? Right? I mean, find out who that kid is right away. Why in the world, like I said, why in the world would I want to start Russell Wilson? Experience for what? Winning 6 games? How many people believe the Giants are going to win more than 6 games? I don't. So I'm going to start Russell Wilson. To do what? Fool the fans? I mean, right. Jameis Winston's there. Shit, I have more confidence in Jameis Winston than I do Russell Wilson. I saw him in that. I saw him in the Eagle game, and I was like this. I'm missing this. Here. Sills, they're trying to keep their jobs. The GM should be fired at the end of the season. Well, shit, man. If I'm the general manager of the New York Giants and I'm on a respirator, 5 wins, 6 wins is not going to save my gig. I heard John Mara even come out and say, the pressure's on. He's telling them, this better either look great or you better win or you're canned. It was a mistake to retain both Brian Dable and Joe Schoen. You trust those guys after the whole Daniel Jones situation where you gave that guy 100? So look what they did in New York in the last 3 years. You let Barkley go. You gave Daniel Jones a contract extension of $150 million. Both failed. And then you drafted Jackson Dart. How if you're John Mara, you look at that and go, the Giants are in the right direction. How do you sit there and go like this? Yeah, they look great. It makes no sense. The 49ers are going to be based on McCaffrey's health and Purdy's effectiveness. And if that defense can come back and play the way they did 2 years ago, okay? If that guy could play, Nick Bosa can play the way that he did a couple years ago, then you're talking about San Francisco competing in the NL or the NFC West and potentially being a playoff team that could make some noise. They've got talent on that team. Okay? Seals, your heart for the Giants continues to show. Why wouldn't it? My uncle was a Hall of Famer there. And what's your point? My uncle was an MVP of the league and a Hall of Famer. And I grew up with that. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Shady. Okay? Giants do suck. That's a fact. My uncle's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Okay? That guy right there. I'm not a fan of any team. Still a fan of so many teams. I'm a fan of no team. I don't root for a team. I don't root for any team. I root for great players. And I root for great organizations doing it right. I have no team I root for. All that stuff back there are all teams I played on. That's a friend of mine. And this other guy's a friend of mine. And that's my first day as a professional NFL player being drafted. Every one of those played. And Vince Papale gave me that. You think I put shit back there that for what? I don't have jerseys back there of people that I didn't play. Okay? I mean, crazy, man. All right. Hey, next week, June 13th. And then it's July. And Xander's right. I didn't put that into context. He's right. Because they're playing that Thursday game, they probably get a chance to show up to training camp a little bit earlier because they're playing on that Thursday. And then I think that Kansas City game, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a Monday night. So, wow. We are right. I mean, what is it? Like I said, 88 days until Notre Dame, Miami. You've got around 50 some odd days until the start of training camp, 92 days until you drop the banner. Great stuff. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being here. Great couple days here, man. Please hit that like button on the way out. Joe, Xander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.